think so. I'll let you know. What's your name? Diego. Go favorite.
Yeah, just kind of standing here. I feel like a boy band or something.
Okay. Come on in, have a seat, Come on down close, if you don't mind. So welcome to Music Industry Project Final Presentations in Nunamaker Year 2. Yeah, go ahead and give yourselves a hand. In this room, we're seeing my 3 sections of Intro to Music Industry Studies. And over the course of tonight and Wednesday night, we're going to see 23 different group presentations. 11 tonight and 12 on Wednesday night. Each group you're going to see has been tasked with finding an artist, choosing a song and recording that song at Loyola's studio, creating a marketing campaign, a website, social media campaign, branding, logos, graphics, a business plan, financial accounting. Each group has invested $100 to $120 in their group. Legal documents and agreements. Each group has performed a live show or is soon to perform a live show. And did I leave anything out? Okay. We have 5 distinguished faculty members who are going to watch the presentations. They're going to fill out a scorecard for each presentation, and they're also going to give you their thoughts verbally at the end. Now, we have 8 minutes for each presentation, and we have 5 or 6 or 7 minutes for faculty feedback in between. Now, I'm going to ask whatever group is up next to come up to the podium and get your presentation ready while the previous group is answering questions from the faculty. So who's the next group, Jenner? They already know who they are. So when these guys are answering questions, you guys come down here, get to the podium, and Jenner will help you get your presentation up. I want to very briefly introduce our faculty panel, in case some of you don't know them. First of all, Rachel, who is a local attorney who is teaching or helping teach legal issues in the spring. Okay. Jenna McSwain teaches keyboard and ensemble and music theory in popular and commercial music. Tim Capel is an attorney who teaches legal issues and music finance. Elizabeth Kelly, you know her from your sessions in which she tutored you in websites and Excel, and she's our Monroe Library liaison. And John Snyder, music industry attorney, record producer, and our department chair in music industry studies. So each group is going to use the microphone with the red tape. And each time I'm going to introduce just the manager of the group, Deadbeat Records and Vinley Sacom. Take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we are Deadbeat Records, and we are representing your one and only Colorblock. All right, so here's the dream team. You got me, Vinlisa, as the manager. You have Nye as your creative. You got Jackson as your marketing. Nick Pitty as your co-NAR. Matt Brown as your co-NAR, and also Grace as your legal. So for our mission statement, I like to emphasize that we like to represent our artists. In addition, we like to emphasize respecting our artists' creative and vision. We do not like to interfere with anything in that process. Now I'll be handing the microphone over to Nye.
Hi, everybody. All right, so this is Colorblock as we found them. They were a four-piece band with sort of psychedelic and alternative influences, lots of sort of Jimi Hendrix, Mild High Club vibes. Two of them originating from California. And after we sort of played a few shows with them and sort of brought them together as a band and discovered that they were sort of very malleable when it came to sort of molding them in the direction of marketing and where we wanted to put them, we figured that a singer would be a sort of nice element to top it all off, because one of the things that impressed me the most with them was sort of their fluidity when it came to performing and their orchestration. So adding Mariah Houston was an excellent choice when it came to sort of bringing the band together and giving them a sort of full sound. And I think that really helped them and helped us, especially Jackson, when it came to sort of making their sort of presence and brand known on a sort of social media level.
Hello, I'm Jackson. I am head of marketing for Colorblock. And before they joined our team, I would say that they were heard but not known, as in you could definitely hear their music coming down the hallway, blasting out of dorms, but no one seemed to know who was making the music, what their name was, where they could see them, where they can get their music. So the first thing that we thought we should do was come up with a name, the most important thing to a band. And we started brainstorming with them and came up with Colorblock. We were so enthusiastic with this name because the marketing opportunities were endless. We had people make posters. Can you go to the next slide? People making posters for us with literally making them look like color blocks. A website where we had like moving motion picture color blocks on the back, just really easy to brand. Moving on, before they joined our team, they did not have like much of a marketing presence. They did not have any recorded material and did not have a fan base. And after, with the help of us, we were able to build on their Facebook, Instagram, a YouTube, a mailing list, and also get music on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. And from there, we've seen a lot of growth. So in the growth on Instagram, we've had over 300 followers, and we're only following about 7 people, which is pretty impressive. We have a YouTube channel where we just released our first music video, over 140 views. Can you do the next slide, please? And we also have a mailing list with 32 members who are very loyal to us. And our most proud achievement is our SoundCloud plays of over 2,000 in 6 days. 140 likes, which we'll keep racking up those plays because they're on people's playlists now. And that's about it for marketing, but everything's been growing very exponentially, and it's been really fun.
So when we first met Colorblock, they were a newly formed band without associations with PROs or other organizations that would help them monetize their music online. So in addition to Sound Exchange, we chose to affiliate them with BMI because of the experimental nature of Colorblock's music and BMI's historical association with jazz and other forms of experimental music. We felt that BMI would be the best fit. We created a management agreement with Colorblock, so they own all of their copyrights, and we sort of just manage the business aspect of their career. And in doing so, we chose CD Baby as our aggregator because for the price, we felt that they had the most comprehensive services. And so now we'd like to play you a little bit of their single that we released through CD Baby, Cream.
Take
Okay, so in lieu of the music video, we're moving on to expenses. We started with the stock $100 budget that every industry group starts with. My bad. Of which, it's feeding back, sorry. Of which 40 went to marketing, 14 went to the music video, which is mostly just those pie trays, and then an additional 40 went to publishing, utilizing those aggregators, and then 93, 96 was total, leaving us at $6.04 under budget.
All right, so Colorblock played a bunch of shows. I think in a span of 1 week in November, they played like 3 shows, one at the Circle Bar, one at the Willow. That's like the main one. Then they also played the Charlie Brown Fest. They're amazing performers live. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen them live. They're amazing. And sorry, I just had to put that. Has anyone seen them live? Raise your hands. That's a lot of people. Has anyone seen them live twice? That's also a lot of people. Yeah. But yeah, they did great. And we can move on to the next slide. Yeah. Next one. So there was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of delayed studio times because of the hurricane, and just like I think we had 4 TAs, just like switching through a bunch and figuring out what times worked for us and stuff like that. And also, they're very independent, so that wasn't really a challenge. It was just something that we worked with, and they definitely had basically a vision of what they had in mind. And like I was saying, they had a lot of dates that they were playing in November, and I was asking them like what dates they want to play, and they're like, "Oh, I'm already playing this day." I'm like, "All right, well, how about this?" I'm like, "I'm playing that day too." So just goes to show how like independent they are and how driven they are as artists.
All right, so for the near future, we would like to expand Colorblock's merchandise by getting any product that we can brand their logo upon. In addition, we would like to release an album through CD Baby, which would cost about $49, and we believe that Cream was just a warm-up. And lastly, we would like to book a summer tour in California due to the fact that many of the band members reside there, and we believe that it'd be beneficial for the growth. In addition, we have connections to another record label that Sebastian knows, and they are called Penniless Record Label. Therefore, we believe that they will allow us to help with the tour. I'm sorry. And we're good. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, hi. All right, first of all, I want to say that was a really great way to start these presentations off. You all were really well rehearsed. It was really smooth. I thought your transitions from person to person were great. I like the way the presentation slides looked. I really like your graphics. I really like your posters from the live shows. Who did your artwork?
We had a friend of theirs, Caesar, who, like, one of the things about the band is they, like, were really, really into their fans. They, like, really have a strong connection. A lot of people are willing to do stuff for them, not to get charged, really just, like, there for them, want to see them grow as a band. So we got all our artwork.
That's excellent, yeah. So really well done on that. And the other question I had was, how did you get people to sign up for your mailing list?
We had through our website, you could, there was a little tab right underneath which is join our mailing list. You enter your email, and it would bring you, it would automatically add, and all of our social media presences, you can find the website link through here, so.
In addition, we also went to their live show, and then we just held around the boards like, hey, would you like to sign up for Colorblock's email list? And they were like, yes.
Great, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. All right, thank you so much.
Rachel?
Yeah, guys, question for you. Who came up with the name Colorblock?
The band.
It's one of you guys back there? Okay. So just as a comment, I love the name Colorblock. That is so smart on so many levels in terms of not only with your graphics, which I thought were really cool, and you could really switch it up with them, but still keep a kind of brand consistency with the Colorblock concept and theory, but also because of the availability for fan contributions. You know, you have some fans, you say, look, we got these cool colors. You can play with this, you know, like what's your color? What, you know, you can have so much fun with that. So I love that concept for it. I think that's really cool, collaborative, and that's what you need to do is get your fans engaged. So smart move.
Who did you say created like the logos and the other artwork? Was it one person or multiple people?
The logo was created by Manuel.
Yeah,
the graphic design.
The graphic. And did you all get any written agreements regarding the ownership of the copyright in the graphics?
Yes, all of the artists and photographers who we worked with signed work for hire agreements and for a small compensation for their artwork.
Great.
But like Jackson said, many of them were really surprised and were willing to do it for free because they love the band.
Sure, sure. Same thing with the website. Who built the website? You built the website. Have you signed a work for hire agreement for the band? So you own the website.
I don't own the website because after a while we wanted to get a better like upgrade on like our membership. We use Band's Google, and we had someone from the band that wanted to take over the website once we were done with the project, so they bought it.
Right. So if you don't want to own it, then you need to make sure that the band has the intellectual property rights to whatever was created. So now that the band is going to administer it and own it, make sure that you guys get into some sort of agreement, okay?
Work, yeah. Hey, I think you guys did a great job. Like they said, the graphics, the colors were great. What did you say about the record label towards the end? You said something about.
Oh, penniless record labels.
Okay.
Sebastian, one of the band members, he met them through, like since he resides in California, he's met them there.
Use the mic to answer questions so we get it
on video. One of our members, Sebastian, he knows another, like a friend of his in California, and they own a label called Penniless Record Label, and they were willing to collaborate with us in order to book them a tour in the summer.
Yeah, very cool. I was just curious. I just heard a snippet of it and wanted to hear more.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what did you say about, you said something about an album and the cost.
Oh, yes. So CD Baby, if you want to release an album, it costs about $49.
Right. I just want to make sure when you say the cost of an album is that, you know, everyone's well aware that it's more than $45.
Yeah, to distribute an album is $49. Yeah.
Right. So just thinking of, you know, if we're thinking long-term albums, obviously, I mean, you can have a lot of people help you with free, you know, pro bono work, but yeah, it's going to obviously cost more than. But yeah, I think you guys did great. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
So what was your role in the recording itself? Did you just turn that over to a TA and they did it, or what?
Sure. We were just there and we supported them. We asked them what they wanted. I asked them beforehand, like, what type of sound they wanted. I know Nick said he wanted some like Black Sabbath type drums. And so, I mean, I talked to some of the TAs beforehand, talking about mics and stuff, and just setting that up, making sure the studio thing went smoothly, and actually just setting up the thing. And we were in the studio session the whole time.
So you were acting as producer, more or less?
Yeah.
Or co-producer with the artist?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, Dom, the TA, was the main producer.
Yeah, so TAs are not supposed to be producers, they're engineers. You need somebody to produce the record. So that would be, we're all learning here. So, you know, next time, produce the record.
Okay.
You gotta do it even though you don't know what you're doing. What about the video? Who did the video?
Well, the video, I think that we sort of decided to go, with the exception of the very kind of exuberant light schemes that we had with all of the very convenient like lava lamps and things that Nick and Dom happened to have in their room. We sort of, one of the things I felt from the jump was that the band did have an incredible sense of orchestration, and it was all about their music. So we didn't want anything too kind of flashy or distracting. So sort of a simply themed video.
Did you produce the video?
Actually, then Lisa shot it.
Just want to make sure that you actually did the video.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of times that that's not the case. Did you make any money?
Well,
$30 for through the band.
Well, 130 through the band, yeah. But the band has most of that money.
Well, you've got to keep some of it, otherwise you won't have a job. So you got to split the money up.
Yeah.
Did the agreement split the money up, or you just decided to give the money up?
Just decided to give the money up.
It's got to be in the agreement, right? How the split is, what the split will be.
You mean the split between the band?
And the producers.
Oh, yeah.
You got to make money at this. You know, it's not just to do it. It's got to be monetized. So have you played the gigs? They made money on that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you would take a percentage of that money. Who's in charge of the budgets? I notice there's no particular budgetary finance position in the jobs. So as manager, you did the financial stuff?
Yes.
What is miscellaneous operations?
Miscellaneous operations. Do we have them?
That's Nick.
Nick? Oh, no, we had updated that later on, and he's supposed to be co-A&R. If you're talking about roles.
The job descriptions on the score sheets.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little fluid.
Yeah.
No worries. So any analytics on your website? Very important to tie analytics to the website.
Yeah, we haven't really ventured into all the analytics yet, but we were planning on doing it.
You can see
more.
how that'd be really important, right? Because you can tweak the site if something, you can get check bounce rates and different things. I'm asking too many questions. I know we have a lot of groups to hear, but I think you did a really good job. The presentation was very professional, and we appreciate your effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm into this. Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, we have AB4W Entertainment Manager Morgan Badarak. Take it away, Morgan.
All right. Introducing Stephanie Marcel singing her original song, Wonderland.
I was in white. I was in the white dress, walking down the aisle. You were in the black suit, keeping your composure. Tears flowing down your face. I met you at the altar and in front of God. We vowed to be one and to never part till death would we part. But that was all a wish, just a dream. You and I broke up. Now I live to sleep. I've been thinking, I've been thinking, I've been thinking about you. I close my eyes so I can find you in my mind all the time. Thank you.
So while they push the piano back, we are A Before W Entertainment. I'm Brianna, Legal Affairs. This is Morgan, our manager. Sam, our creative person. And Ben and Joe are our A&R people. Ben did the live show, and Joe did the song recording. So when we first met up as a group, we decided that our mission was to really cultivate whichever artists we picked and their platform as a whole, and create them an image that was really marketable and one that would be consistent throughout all of their social media and website. We wanted to choose someone that fit this description, but also someone who was really easy to work with. And when we found Stephanie, we realized that she was really the perfect person that fit this description amazingly, because throughout this whole process, she's been super easy to work with. She's been super malleable, and she really lacked a lot of self-marketing and an image that was really cohesive throughout a lot of her social media and her website. We created an image for her, and it was drastically different from the one that she had before, because we wanted to create one for her that was really consistent with the music she was creating. And before, she had, wait, Ben, go back a little bit. So as you can see, her website before was really incohesive in terms of color scheme and pattern. She had the white fence and then the black and white lace and the field and the yellow. It was really inconsistent in terms visually, and we transformed it from this to this, which, as you can see, is more consistent. It's more the black and white theme, and it's the blues and the greens and the purples as you progress through the website. Also, what she had before was less of a website and more of a web page. What she had before, you would click one of the sections and it would scroll down the same page. We really transformed it from just a web page to a really dynamic website with several links and such. So the new website includes her new pictures, which the pictures she had before, Ben, you can, yeah. The pictures she had before, as you can see, are very different from the image she has now, because it really portrays her more as like, it looks kind of like a country artist. And as you can see from her music that she's creating, that's not what she is at all. So we really transformed her from this country, the country vibe that she was presenting, to more of like a sleek and cohesive image that we created for her. So these pictures are drastically different from the ones she had before, and they really show who Stephanie is as an artist now, as opposed to who she was before. So we created this image based on the music she played for us when we first met her, and the single that we chose to produce, Wonderland, that she just sampled for you all. Going into the project, we thought that we were gonna be producing more of an R&B artist, like most other groups, or like someone more upbeat. But we were pleasantly surprised when Stephanie played us most of her music, and we saw that her music was more in touch with who she is, and it's very down to earth. And what stood out to us about Stephanie mostly is that her music is very particular to who she is and her experiences, but it's also really relatable to her audience and the people she's trying to reach out to. She shares her advocacy and such through her music, and it's very who she is. And it's very down to earth and singer-songwriter, which I think is drastically different from many of the other artists that the other groups are producing. So when we realized that we were producing such a different artist, we had to change the tentative budget that we came up with that Morgan's now gonna explain to you.
For our budget, we started out with $100 for her capital, and we put $20 to her new photos, $20 for her graphic design, which was used for the album cover, $50 for the video, and $10 for the promotional stickers, which we used as kind of an incentive to get people to sign up for her email list at the live show. And so we spent the most money on her video because we felt that, as Bree mentioned before, she lacked self-marketing, and we wanted people to be able to associate the art she was creating with her face and the cohesive brand we've created. And so we spent the most on that, and since releasing Wonderland, it has 2 times, actually more than double, the views of any of our other YouTube content, so we're really proud of that. Also, secondary to the video, the new photos were used on all her social media pages because we wanted to revamp them in this image. So all the new pictures were used on all the profile pictures for her social media sites, as well as the white fence that you saw on the website is used as the header for all of her pages, to where it's easily associated with the video, with the site, and with Stephanie herself. And now Joe's gonna talk about the song.
Hello, everybody. To really just start off, the songwriting ability that Stephanie presents is really great. It's dense. We went over the lyrics before we even went to record, and nothing we really wanted to change except for one thing, which originally the title of Wonderland was Thinking About You, and we felt that that title was a little bit too generic, not really explaining what the whole of the song is. So we wanted something that was more ambiguous, so we went with Wonderland. It was a bigger concept, a bigger idea that would help us market it better, produce the creative aspect of it with the music video design. But other than that, we didn't really change any of the lyrics besides a few tweaks to make the song flow better. But really the one thing we wanted to get right was the title. The title was really important to us because that's what captures people. And I find that with Wonderland, there's a sense of duality in the song. So I like the fact that when you see Wonderland for the first time, you're thinking, oh, this is a happy, upbeat song, but it's quite the opposite. It's two different stories. So we actually got Wonderland from the bridge of the song. And Stephanie's talking about being in this like dream-like atmosphere, and it's away from reality. So being away from reality, I felt that that was something that was relatable with the fans or audience. So we felt like, okay, there's relatability, there's marketability, and it helps us create our music video. To add on to the recording, we did get pushed back in recording with the hurricane that didn't really do anything to us. But it actually helped us out as a group. We were able to actually, more of us was able to attend the recording session, which helped us kind of bring in more input, bring in more ideas together. Originally, it was just us by ourselves. Well, it was just me and I think Brianna, right? But with the second studio recording, we were able to all come. So I feel like that kind of helped us get a bigger, broader range of ideas to exactly what we wanted the song to sound like. Other than that, after we got a couple mixes, we kind of all agreed on one, and then we started discussing distribution. And our distribution is actually kind of unconventional. It's something that's not expected. I actually didn't know about it till Ben actually brought it up. So we went a different route with our distribution, and Ben's gonna talk about that right now.
All right, so as you guys saw on the budget slide, we didn't spend any money on our distribution. We used an app called Amuse, and it's completely free. And within a week, we had Wonderland on every platform, including Shazam. And yeah, so that like cleared up a lot of money for us to spend on other things like the music video and marketing, and it kind of it was pretty clutch. Yeah, I mean that's like the best way to put it. Yeah. So she's gonna talk more about the music video.
Right, so as Joe was saying earlier, the concept of this video was like two different storylines. Reality, which was her being very nostalgic and reflecting on something that she wished she could have had, and the Wonderland, which is actually the dreamland that she sings about in the verses of her song, you know, picturing herself getting married and picturing herself, you know, having a husband and finding a child, or raising a child with this man. It was so much fun to watch Stephanie play this character of, you know, the two different people in this video, because it was so personal to her, and it was great to see her confidence grow as an artist and just watch her her brand establish. For the $50, and you know, it kind of seems like a lot for a video, but I think it really paid off for us. So we picked up a sophomore film student who helped me film and edit, which I had never done before. I took on this role because I wanted to do something challenging and brand new for me. So it was really great to establish that kind of connection with the film industry at Loyola as well. So Mary Grace, our videographer, worked very closely with me, and together we brought my storyboard of Wonderland to life on screen, which you just saw. So it was really easy to take Stephanie's lyrics for Wonderland and see a movie playing out. You know, it doesn't take long to picture a desperate girl in a white gown wandering around, you know, praying for something, you know, that she knows that she'll never have. So there are 3 different locations for this music video. There was a friend's house on Valmont, belonging to a Loyola student. There was Audubon Park, and then there was the spectacular Longview House and Gardens, which when we were there in their Spanish court, you know, it actually did look like a real life Wonderland. So at these places we filmed for 3 hours, And then there was also about 3 hours of editing afterwards involved. As Morgan nearly said, we have almost 300 views on this music video, which is more than twice what she had before we picked up Stephanie as an artist. And once we released the music video, we promoted it all over her social media in hopes of drawing an audience to her live show, which Ben's gonna talk about.
So we did our live show at the Neutral Ground last Friday, and we actually had a pretty good turnout. It was about 25 people, and that's like not including all the people that like came and went because it was a coffee house. And then, like we said earlier, we got to give out the stickers there, and it was kind of just a good way to market her. And then she's gonna talk further on that.
Yeah, so I opened for Stephanie. I played 2 of my original songs, and I did a cover. And then I played for Stephanie's Wonderland, as you guys saw earlier, so that she could really establish a connection with the audience in hopes of, communicating that personal trait that she has with the song with everyone else.
All right, for the future of Stephanie, we primarily represented Stephanie as a recording artist during this project, but moving forward, we want to focus primarily on the songwriting aspect of her, foremost, as well as representing her as an artist. So in the 6 months coming up, we want her to write and write. We want to get her into a studio and have her make the connections with other artists, collaborate. And then within a year or so, we want to work towards a publishing deal so that she can work on her writing. And then while writing songs for herself and others, she can work on the side on her performing. And then eventually, moving forward, we see her recording a full-length album and then possibly touring it in the future. And then speaking of live shows, we have another show in the works for Stephanie. And so on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, you can follow her at Music by Marcel and look out for more information. Thank you.
Okay, guys, question for you. That music video had, great lighting and shots in that. I was going to ask some questions about it, but I was going to say, Samantha, really, did you come up with the storyboard on that?
I did, yes.
Yeah, okay, that was really cool.
Thank you.
Are y'all taking stills from that video? Who's managing social media, first of all?
So we actually, we don't have a single marketing person. We've all split up the job because we lost our marketing person early in the school year. So we've kind of all taken on that work. So I think, really, I think it's been a group effort to collaborate that. But
okay, one of the things I'm just gonna throw out there for you guys, because I saw just like clips of your social media really quick, but y'all had some great still shots from that video, and y'all should be using them, especially on Instagram.
Yeah.
Saying this, and I was introduced as an attorney, but I also do some work on Instagram in my free time. So what I will tell you is that video and the stills from that video would look really good on that.
We put a couple behind the scenes while we were shooting on Instagram so that people could see what was to come and get them excited for the video that we were releasing. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I really like the Wonderland. I like the branding of that word. I liked the still shot that you showed at the beginning. It had kind of flowers. It played upon the kind of magical element of that. And the website itself looks great. I almost feel like we could tie that Wonderland theme into the website itself a little bit more, a little bit of magic as far as branding goes. I'm new to this. How does this money situation work? Where does that come from, and how do...
We each put forward $20 for the investment.
Okay. And you just decide, decide how much of that $100 is worth spending on this and that, rather than knowing this is going to cost this and this is going to cost that, basically. And you figure out who will do it for that money.
Yeah, that's basically, we kind of set aside what we estimated our budget to be. So we kind of, we spent a little more on the video, so we had to take a little from something else. But we had a plan initially, and then we kind of deviated from that as necessary.
Cool. I'm just curious for everybody how that goes.
Also, we had cut costs with the distribution, so we kind of
right.
got some money out of that as well.
Did you guys talk about the growth of social media following already? Did I miss that? Or?
We didn't talk specific numbers on social media. She didn't really have a social media presence to start with, so we kind of grew it from the ground up. I think we have specific numbers if you go to, there's slides up. If you went to the last slide, there was specific numbers. The following necessarily on social media wasn't astronomical, but we got about 25 emails, and then we grew our numbers on the YouTube videos double. And so in the YouTube link, there's all her social media pages, so we're hoping like people from the video can navigate to the social media as well as they're on the website. So we were hoping to draw people from that.
Cool. Yeah, just wanted to hear about that. I think that's all I have.
Nice job. I really like that you thought so much about who your artist was and what your visuals, your pictures, your website could represent about her and her music. And I appreciated how much you all seem behind her and to support her and to really be fans of her music. That's so important. That said, I also really like that you handed out swag, the stickers, in exchange for people to sign up for your mailing list. That's super smart. It's a great way to use your merch. Presentation was good. I wish you had talked a little bit more about some of these nitty-gritty details. You spent a lot of time talking about her and who she is, which is great. But because this is a business, we also want to know sort of the hard line a little bit. But nice job.
Thank you.
Tim?
I think that the video was, for me at least, the best part, and I think that was money well spent. I think, you know, sometimes getting a good product costs money, and you have to, people doing things for free, you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. And so I think that was a good expenditure on your part. How did you all get into the Longview Gardens to do the filming?
That was me. So I really, first off, when finding the location, you have to find some place that really just captures the place that Stephanie's dreaming of. We spent a lot of time looking, around venues, to find, and I saw, a lot of Googling. And then we stumbled across this picture of a maze, and we're like, oh my God, Wonderland, Alice in Wonderland, running through the maze, and we're like, okay, this is Longview, we gotta call them. So I called the lady, took a couple times to get her on the phone, and then when she finally answered, we said, we're Loyola students, and this is our freshman project, we're just trying to get this artist up and going because we, really believe in her. And the lady said, well, I cannot remember the director's name, but the lady that I talked to, her name is Catherine, and she said that their director was Loyola Law School grad, so we were kind of in their graces, and they wanted to, give us some real life experience. And so she sent me a big long PDF of all of their filming guidelines, and I saw at the bottom it was like a $10,000 fee to film there for the day, and I was like, yikes, I don't know if we can do that. But because we had that Loyola connection, she said, all right, well, send me an outline of the video, how many people are gonna be there, how long, what's going on, and we'll let you do that for free. And I was just like, wow, absolutely blown away by that. So the only thing we really had to pay for at Longview was our transportation there. We Ubered there and back, and that was how that connection was made.
Well, very nice. I think that that's good on the ground work on your part.
Thank you.
I would say, speaking of the good location, filming in Audubon Park, a place that's open to the public. Presents challenges, particularly when the public is utilizing.
Yes. We spent the longest amount of our time at Audubon Park because of all the background stuff. There were lots of
so I mean, the only criticism I have about the video was that, you're talking like a real intimate and sort of pensive and nostalgic, and then you got these people riding bikes in the background, and you wouldn't think that that's a big deal. But it's really not fitting the vibe when you got people on a bike race around there. So be mindful of that, because you took a really, really excellent product, and for me, it just it popped out at me. I was like, what the hell are these people doing riding bikes, What are and the last thing I'll ask you is, what have y'all been thinking about in terms of merchandise? You seem to really have an idea about who this artist is, and I always feel like the best merchandise is something that reflects who that artist is and can serve multiple purposes. So other than stickers, what are you thinking about?
That's a Ben question.
Yeah. Well, we were thinking, the text we use for the Stephanie Marcel, we're gonna use that for T-shirts, and just across, and they're super cheap. And then from the money we make from that, we'll put that into hoodies and we'll just kind of build it from there, make more money, and then put it into the music farther. Yeah.
So you're planning on keeping this going?
Yeah, I was also thinking about the little, if on her picture, she has like these little flowers looking like a halo over her head. I was thinking about even just making like some jewelry because they're really cute.
I like that. See,
Yeah.
You know, a T-shirt and a hoodie.
It's kind of basic.
well, I mean, but it's also completely generic. I mean,
Yeah.
what about T-shirts and hoodies reflects who she is as an artist?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what I mean by complimentary.
Well, Stephanie loves her earrings, so I mean, we would definitely.
Perfect. Well, then go with that.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you gotta do something that's unique, and something that says something about the artist. Use merchandise is just not a throwaway.
Yeah.
It's not a way just to make money. It's a way to reinforce the brand over and over and over, and to be special. Do something different.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
We're going to have to move on, but you haven't made your money yet, right?
No, sir.
You spent your $100. You need to make that money back and make a profit on top of that. But otherwise, you know, that's not something that the group's really focused on. The idea of producing something and presenting it to the public is important enough. We appreciate what you did and your performance here tonight, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. I regret to say that if every group exceeds the 8-minute guideline by the same degree as that group, then we're going to be here till 2 a.m. based on my math. So 8 minutes. 8 minutes, I'm sitting right up front, and if my pencil starts to twitch, that means you got 1 minute left. Okay? I very, very much appreciate you going fast. If you do it in 7, extra credit. Next group. Give me one beat after I introduce you, just to say a couple things to the faculty. Next group up is Sonic Mind Entertainment. Their artist is Rain. Their manager is Anna Morrison. Give me 1 sec, Anna.
Yep. Hi guys, my name is Anna Morrison. I'm the manager for Sonic Mind Entertainment. Just want to thank you all for joining us on this lovely evening. And I'm going to go ahead and get things started with a little team introduction.
Hey guys, my name is Breezy. I was head of creative for this project.
Hi guys, I'm Emmanuel Lynch and I was A&R.
Hey, I'm Nicole Kluchin and I was marketing for Sonic Mind Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Abriella Mann and I was in charge of legal for Sonic Mind Entertainment.
Here at Sonic Mind Entertainment, we are dedicated to the discovery, advancement, and promotion of artists in the greater New Orleans area. And the first artist we chose to work with was Rain. Rain is an all-female American R&B soul group based out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we were originally drawn to Rain by the power and intensity of their sound. Their music is driven by these passionate, beautiful, 3-part harmonies that really grab listeners from their first beat. Their sound is influenced by icons such as Lauryn Hill, TLC, and Destiny's Child. And the 3 women in the group each have such a unique and individual style that come together to create a very exclusive sound and style for the group as a whole. And next, I'm going to hand it off to Breezy to talk about their branding.
When we sat down to try and create a unique brand for the girls, there were 3 things that really came to mind that we thought were really important. One, it needed to be simple, but on the other hand, while it's simple, it needed to be really distinct and recognizable. And the last one is it had to be representative of who the girls were, because that's essentially what your brand is. And with all that, we feel like we achieved that, from the all-black attire to Randy's face paint to the sleek, simple logo. And we feel like it'll be something that's recognizable, that people will understand and remember who it is the second they see that, and it will help them separate themselves from others in their genre in the future.
So the song Deadly Drug was written by Randy Rue, lead singer. The girls find this as their signature song because the lyrics describe not only dark and romance combined, but embodying proudness and being who you are. So our first take in the studio with our TA, Sam. I also want to give a shout out to Bokar for helping us with some tracks and mixing as well. We had some complications with studio time, so on our second take, we were able to get all the girls' tracks, and it worked out well. Our main challenge was during the process, originally the quartet, Raven E. Evans left the group. The girls turned into a trio, but they agreed to feature Raven in the track. So along with that, this turned into a really great success. We put the song on all platforms, and it was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed doing this. I'm gonna turn it over back to Breezy.
Music video?
I'm not easy to love. I told you from the start I'm a deadly drug. So don't act so surprised that I gave you up. You took a hot chance and it burned to the touch. And now you're all upset when you stuck to me, complaining that my love brought you to your knees. Boy, don't take it there, please get up, don't grieve. I'm just passing through, we'll find another queen. Love, oh my love, 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 you are my love. Oh my love, 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 my love. Oh my love, 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 and let me drug. Oh my love, it's your drug, your drug. We played these games before. I told you what it was before you walked through the door. Cause this don't mean to me what it means to you. Breaking all your bags just for me to come through.
So with the music video, we ran into a lot of unexpected complications. For a while, it was difficult for us just to find someone to shoot the video. And once we found people that were open to shooting the music video, either their prices didn't fit into our budget or our schedules it wasn't possible to make them match up. So ultimately, we took matters into our own hands and filmed the video with Emmanuel's iPhone and sent it off to someone to produce to edit the video and get it ready to release. When we were thinking for the concept, Rain came to us and they said they wanted the video to kind of resemble Lady Gaga's Just Dance and Fiona Apple's Criminal, with the kind of the spotlight in a dark room vibe, and we feel like we were able to kind of capture that.
Before we met the group, they all had their own individual personal social medias, but they didn't have anything as a group. So we made their website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And our Instagram was the most successful, gaining over 260 followers in just 2 months, and our Twitter got 23 followers. Most of our audience is women between the age of 18 and 24. And on all our social media accounts, we talk about the different members, getting more personal with them. We show the recording process, and we let fans know when new music is coming out in the music video. For our website, we wanted to keep it simple, so we did a black and white theme, and we had an about page explaining how the girls met, and the events showing how we have one coming up on the 10th, and we have the music video, and email list. We also have a link to sign up to the email list at the bottom of every page. And if you want to follow Rain on social media, it is at Rain Music, and their website is rainmusic.com.
Okay, so for our budget, we collectively took $100 and put that towards $35 for the music video editing. We also spent $18 on a CD Baby registry, which helped to get their music out on all platforms. And for our photo shoot, we paid $60, which did take us over budget at $113. But with Rain helping to chip in and put in some funds, we were able to swing it, and that really helped a lot with their branding.
So for the first 3 months of this project, we chose to put most of our budget towards the most foremost and prominent goals and deadlines we needed to meet. But going forward, we would really like to see ourselves expand our budget to include more projects such as social media advertisement. They want to work towards producing a full album, so going in with professional studio, with professional studio engineers, and then also hiring a videographer and developing and designing merchandise, because those are two really strong and fairly easy ways to promote yourself and really develop your brand. And then finally, put more money towards touring, because luckily we are at a point in the industry right now where there is a lot of money to be made from touring. So when I sat down with Rain to discuss their long-term goals, it became very obvious that this was a very powerful group of women who just wanted to make very powerful music. So long-term, they overall really just want to develop an all-encompassing brand. They want their name to be out there in fashion, accessories, merchandising, but they also want to develop a status in the social change, and they want to really develop a fan base and influence their fan base to seek change in the world around them. And then at the end of the day, they just want to perform Grammy Award-winning music on world tours, because the sky's the limit. Thank you.
So that was very nicely done. Thank you so much. Everybody's dressed in black, the performers and the presenters. That was an interesting touch. Who was in charge of collecting data?
As far as social media data?
Yeah. Gigs, did you collect any data at the gig, or?
That would be Nicole. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go through with our live performance yet. It's on this Saturday, December 10th at Satchmo's, because when Raven left, they had to do some changing of how they performed and just really need some time to rediscover their sounds. They chose to wait. So we don't have any data on the live performance yet, but Nicole could speak to you about social media data.
You do any analytics on the website? Do you know how many people came to the site, for example?
No.
It's a good idea to do that, but we probably should move along here. See, anything else? I thought the intros were good in the beginning, and I think it's clear what you were doing, each person's responsibilities. The legal work, I assume, is buttoned up. You have licenses for everything and releases and all that, right? Yeah. Anybody else have any questions?
Well done. Thank you for getting into some of that demographic info for your social media. So your next step now is to take that data and do something with it. Are those the people we want to be reaching? If so, where can we find them in other places? Are there other people we want to be reaching to? But well done.
Thank you.
So I would say here again, it's a situation where where you put your money, you got the most result. I think the photo shoot looked great. Conversely, the video, when you shoot something on an iPhone, that's not what you should be putting out as an artist. You shouldn't be putting out things on an iPhone video. You have an interesting thing with a leaving member. So how did you all deal with the leaving member from a legal standpoint? Was the leaving member a co-author of any of the songs? Did she waive any right to the name of the band? How is she going to be compensated going forward?
So basically we put her as a featuring. So what I did was I took Rain and had them sign the documents for the artist agreement, but as well I also had her sign. And she will, because she did write the rap, she's going to be getting some of the profits from that.
Okay. What is an exclusive sound? What does that mean?
An exclusive sound, so it's not you turn on the radio and it's just yet one another of those hits that everybody kind of vaguely sounds the same. They really have their sound that is unique to them, and they really stand in it. And while every artist over the course of their career plays around with other sounds, like they always have that core sound or that core vibe that they always come back to that really resonates with their fan base, because they want to build a genuine and dedicated fan base, and with that comes consistency.
Cool. I feel like a lot of the words that you just said to describe them might have been a better choice than exclusive, just for my personal thing. You know, words in branding are incredibly important, especially in a little blurb like you had. So that was a thought I had. Yeah, like you said about the video, of course, if you put more into the video, you also, and like you mentioned with the other group, can have stills. So that can also add to your photo base. So yeah, video's super important, right?
A couple of things, just want to throw this in. So first of all, the face paint made me think Kiss meets Destiny's Child, which was really kind of cool and different and unique, and I liked it. I wasn't ready for it, but I liked it. Now let's talk about that video, because that, I agree on the filming on an iPhone thing, you know, and that's something you learn over time, you know, when you realize the kind of stuff that you're dealing with that. Did y'all have a band agreement by any chance for all the members?
Yeah,
that was the artist agreement? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, cool look, cool sound. When you did the video, were you able to film all the members together in the same shot at any point? Okay. When you have a group, one of the things that I would look for is showing them as a cohesive unit, as a group, because otherwise it seems really disjointed. And that's when I was watching it, I was like, we got a group, but I'm seeing one girl. Why am I seeing one girl? And then the other one came up. So that's something else probably to keep in mind, at least that I picked up on.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks you guys. Next up, we have a program change. In your program, they were formerly known as Fresh Music Records, but we're going to forget all about that, right? They are now Sound On Records, and their manager is Annika Weiss. Take it away, Annika.
Hi, as you just said, I'm Annika. I'm the manager of Sound On Records, and just to give you an idea of what we're about, I'm going to let you know what our vision was when we first came together at the beginning of the semester. So that was to work with artists and the creative process in order to help our artists successfully pursue their musical passions in a way that can benefit the listener, team, and the artist. We do this by creating work that both the team and the artist believe in. Together, we work diligently by using our determination, integrity, and goals to produce and support the artists and our success. Just to give you an overview of our team, it consists of 5 members. As I said, I'm the manager, Annika. We have Kate, who's in charge of marketing, Evan, who does A&R, Frankie, who is legal, and Savannah, who does creative. This is a quick overview of our budget. We had 4 main expenses, the first being the live show, which was primarily transportation fees. We also had a logo, which is featured on our website. We had the cost of the website, and we did some Facebook ads, which was marketing. Now I'm going to hand it off to Evan.
Thanks, Annika. Hello, everybody. My name is Evan Schoonmaker, and I am the A&R of Sound On Records. Our artist is Yasmin Fucha. She's a 21-year-old native of New Orleans. She's very proud of her roots, of her Creole heritage. She's a singer and a lyricist whose music is heavily influenced by R&B, soul, and reggae, and she's very active in the New Orleans area. A little bit more about the single, Sucre Sucre. So one of her biggest challenges being a lyricist and singer strictly, she doesn't play any instruments, is she needs to find someone who she can collaborate with to make a hot record, right? So she linked up with Samwise. And Samwise is a musician and an engineer at our school. So together they make hot records, right? So the early work of Sucre Sucre was really spent trying to figure out how Jazz was going to lay her lyrics onto the accompanying beat that Samwise had produced. So a lot of the early sessions were dedicated to figuring that out. Once that was arranged, Yaz discerned where she wanted her verse to go, her chorus to lie, what she wanted to happen with all of her lyrics and where she wanted them to lay out in the song, right? And so after she recorded it, most of the creative control of the song was then given to Sam to add any final touch-ups that he wanted to. He added a verse on it, and then after that, they mixed and mastered it with a close friend of Sam's named Randall, who's a really talented TA. And we had a live performance at the Dragon's Den on September 23rd. I pulled up and ran sound with Samwise, and he used my bass and all my instruments. But yeah, I'm going to hand it over to Frankie Tadero now, our legal rep, to tell you more about our contracts and stuff.
So as legal, I looked at templates of contracts and developed my own versions of the contracts. An example of one of the contracts I did was the artist agreement. The duration of the contract extended from when our artist signed till December 5th, and we agreed that Sound On would receive 80% of the profits and the artist would get 20%. The artist agreed to attend meetings, perform live shows, and attend recording sessions on a scheduled date.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm head of marketing. So one of my responsibilities was social media, and 3 that I focused on were Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And she already had an Instagram and Twitter, so we just worked on revamping those and making sure she and I were both actively posting on those accounts. And then I created her Facebook, where we received over 70 likes and 136 views in just the first 2 days. So we decided to run a Facebook ad, and you can see the analytics on it here. We advertised her song on Spotify and her website, and you can see it reached 195 people. 180 of those came from the ad, and only 15 were reached organically, and this was only $3, so we thought it worked out pretty well. And this is just a graphic showing you a little bit better about her following, including her MailChimp there. And you can see her most followers are on Instagram because that is where she's the most active. And then this is her Spotify and SoundCloud page. You can see she has about the same amount of following on both, with less than 1,000 plays and 20 followers on Spotify, and 27 followers and 720 listens on SoundCloud. And these are some screenshots from her website. You can see here her name, logo, links to social media and streaming platforms, and the different pages on her website. We also have a pop-up for her, signing up for her MailChimp, and a button that takes you directly to her SoundCloud. And I chose WordPress as the website format because I thought it looked the most professional. And we also found a plan that was only $4 a month that guaranteed a unique domain name and no watermarks on the website. And we were able to secure yasmin.com as the domain. And we have viewers to the website almost every day, the most being 19 views in one day. So this is just a close-up of the logo we had designed for her based on her concept of her face in the middle of a Versailles sun with her signature earth, sunflower, and crown surrounding her. So next I'll hand it off to Savannah to talk about our music video.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm creative, and our biggest problem and challenge was the music video. And we wanted to film while the sun was setting, but unfortunately we didn't start until an hour later because of some difficulties. So we were filming quickly, trying to get as much footage as we could in a short amount of time. And when I was editing the footage, I realized that the majority of it was out of focus or unclear, so I tried my best to work with what I could. Here's a snippet.
Top of a crown, baby, smile. Sucre, 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 sucre. Je t'aime, baby. Sucre, 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 sucre. Je t'aime, je t'adore. Tu sais.
I think that's it.
All right, thank you. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you for listening. If you have any questions.
Yeah, we could shift.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you guys. First of all, funny story, so I've actually ran into this song because I've actually dealt with Randall and Samwise. So that's a funny deal there. So you guys are only giving the artist 20%. Did I understand you right?
Well, we haven't really made any money. So.
Well, I know. No, someone go for it.
Yes.
Yes. What?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look.
That is true.
Look, to each your own, to each your own. Everyone does their deal their own way. What made you decide to do an 80-20 split?
Frankie, do you
We just thought that was like fair. I mean, in our eyes, because like we had to.
Better question. Who owns the copyrights?
They do.
Okay.
Jasmine.
Okay, so she's holding on to
Yeah.
her copyrights.
Mhm.
Is she holding on to all of her trademarks?
Mhm.
Okay, and then y'all are taking 80% of the money, and she's keeping 20%.
And she's keeping 20. Yeah.
Interesting. Who took the photos?
The photos in our presentation.
Yes.
All on her Instagram.
Okay, so none of y'all took any of the photos.
Aside from the ones that were from our shoot, no. So there were maybe 3 or 4.
She had already done a photo shoot as well. That
Yeah.
was basically a synopsis of the brand that she wanted to create, so it kind of fit.
Okay. Did y'all consider doing a music video that fit with the photos, like the brand and the colors and stuff?
Yeah, so our music video was a very long, turbulent journey. We originally were gonna film in a diner, and then a 50s themed diner. Yeah. She had wanted 4 actors and a script, and it was a lot, but because of timing, we decided that we'd just do something in Audubon Park. And then she got stuck in traffic, so unfortunately we ran out of sunlight, but that was the only time we could film, so we went to the one spot that had sunlight, which was the roof of the parking garage. And so we just kind of tried to have the vibe of the video come from just her and Sam, basically.
And just to be clear, she doesn't intend to use this as her official music video, and we really we don't think it represents her as the serious artist that we think she is, right? It's just a couple of sterile shots on it.
I think you faced those challenges pretty well, considering all that you had. Yeah, but of course, that being said, your subjects have that energy that shows through. And my other question is kind of in a similar theme. I would like to have seen like some social media before and after. Do you guys have that information? Like before you guys?
I don't have specifics other than she did have an Instagram and Twitter, but no Facebook. So the Facebook was all from scratch. The Instagram, she had a good amount of followers. It was just making sure she was actively posting continuously and talking about, her shows, everything, upcoming news, rather than just her personal life. Yeah.
Was your deal with the artist just for this single song for Sucre, or was it for additional songs as well?
Single.
Yeah. Well, look, I commend you for, going sort of against the grain and securing a deal that's 80% of the revenue to you all. This is a business, and if you all are the ones that are putting in the work, and the artist is okay with taking 20% on a single song, and she gets to go on and do her career and you all aren't involved in the rest of her career. You're only involved in one song. So 80%, I think I commend you all for taking that step and looking at it as a business. I think for me, the best part about this project was the song, for sure, and the recording. That to me sounded top notch. Obviously the video was something less than top notch.
Yeah, I agree. The song sounded really great. And I wanted to know, do you have the same music on your Spotify as you do on SoundCloud? All of the same stuff?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's kind of surprising then that you do have the same number of followers on those, because Spotify is you have to sign up for subscription, and SoundCloud is free. So if you're going to give stuff away for free, people aren't probably going to pay for it. So you may want to limit what goes on SoundCloud and just put a couple things on there, and then put everything else on Spotify.
Do you have budgets for each deliverable? Did you have a budget for each one for the record?
No, we just had one main.
Yeah, so what we did was we tried to cap it off at $100, and then just try to figure out how we could do the most with what we had. And
so
for the
no requirement in the project for a budget per se for each deliverable.
No, just an overall budget.
Then I would draw the question.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
next up group has one missing member that we hope is all right now. In the hospital? Okay. It's Flux Records. Their artist is Nolan Tecklenburg. Their manager is Ashley Johnson.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ashley Johnson, and I am the manager for Flux Records. Flux Records was a company originally founded by 6 Loyola students. We're now down to 5. But we all came together on the same common concept of our mission statement, which is we exist to collaboratively create client-based, outside-the-box thinking to allow us to achieve the highest standard of authenticity for our label, as well as each of our artists. Now, currently, we've only have Nolan Tecklenburg signed as our artist, but I'm going to now switch to the Meet the Team slide. Thank you. Myself, I'm the manager. Here we've got Margot Labat as our head of marketing, Katie Fanasi as our wonderful creative director, and Dominic Rivera as our legal representative. We are missing Nabil Makit tonight, and he is our A&R representative, but Katie will be doing some speaking about Nolan and who he is as an artist right now.
Hi. So Ashley said we have Nolan Tecklenburg as our artist. He's a jazz pianist. He's been playing for 15 years. He's an incredibly talented musician, knows what he's doing. But what really stood out to us and the reason we signed him is because of his style. He doesn't just play like classic jazz. He incorporates a lot of blues and funk. And it was just really clear when he played for us that he's doing something a little different, a little experimental. And he plays with usually a band of 6 people. He has 2 tenor saxophones, a trumpet, bass, drums, and himself on keys. And I'm going to turn it over to Margot to talk about marketing and what we did with him.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm in charge of all aspects of marketing for Nolan. So concerning our brand, we really wanted to promote and prioritize authenticity in order to adhere to our label's mission statement. So we really wanted Nolan to stay true to himself. He's a really low-key, laid-back, casual, relaxed guy. So we really wanted that to carry over into his live presence, and it really does, both in his personal style and just in his demeanor when he's performing. But we also wanted to, through our brand, we wanted to promote and just really emphasize the experimental nature of his music. So we utilize a lot of psychedelic graphics through our website and just through our overall digital presence. As you can see, we use a lot of psychedelic graphics, and we really wanted to include a lot of that through a lot of the tabs on the website. So we have an About section for Nolan, including his band, and we also have a media gallery, which has a lot of videos and photos and just his social media. We also have, of course, our place where you can sign up for our MailChimp email list. And so you can go on to the next slide. Yeah, we use Squarespace for our website platform. Our website did relatively well. We gained a lot of our attention through direct contact, so people just access the website immediately instead of through search engines. And so this is the amount of views that we got in the last month, and we got as many as 8 and 12 views per day in the last month. And so on to our social media. We use the main platforms for social media, so Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our Instagram was definitely our most used social media, and we posted the most on Instagram. We transformed Nolan's personal account into the one that we wanted to represent for our label. And so because it was his personal account, he started off with a good amount of followers already. It was 402 followers. Yes, and then by the end, we gained 456 followers. And we also kind of promoted our brand of the psychedelic dark theme on the Instagram the most. And then as far as the Twitter goes, that was probably our least used social media, personally because Nolan and I didn't really use Twitter or haven't used Twitter for our recreational use, so that was kind of the most unfamiliar platform. But concerning the fact that we started off with 4 followers and ended up with 18 followers, and going from no posts to the 18 tweets, no, just a couple of tweets, I would say that was relatively successful. And then as far as our Facebook goes, that was our most interactive social media platform. So we interacted the most with our audience and our fans through Facebook. So whenever we would post things, we would gain a lot of reactions and comments on our Facebook posts. And we created our Facebook page, and we got as many as 44 likes. So, and now I'm going to hand it over to Katie for discussing all creative aspects regarding Nolan.
So keeping the brand in mind, concerning the music video, because it was his debut music video, we really wanted to make sure the brand was kind of emphasized. So it's very psychedelic. There are a lot of moving parts and everything. And the whole concept was there's Nolan's band and then there's this dancer. And the dancer is supposed to represent Nolan's mind and like his emotions. So the way the strongest song is structured, there are these calm parts and these really chaotic parts. So during the calmer parts, you know, the dancer is like not moving as much, you know, just dancing more calmer. And then during the chaotic parts, there's a lot of lights, she's kicking, she's twirling, all of that. And the clip we're gonna play is towards the end of the song. It's a transition between the calm and one of the chaotic parts, so you can kind of see the dancer in action. So without further ado.
Okay, and now I'm going to talk about our live show. Something that we had struggled with was picking the proper venue to showcase Nolan, especially this piece, his debut single, Anger. Because it is so chaotic, it's not something that fits into the traditional classical jazz standards. So we wound up on deciding on performing our gig at Rare Form. It's in the French Market, around the French Quarter, very jazz, like hot spot in the city, so we figured it would be the best place to market him. And we had between 20 to 30 people roaming in and out throughout the time of the duration of their gig, and we had walked away with 20% of the bar, which was $40, and that was pretty good. Like, we were happy with the turnout. It was a pretty solid gig. Nolan also performs commonly with Dairlilies and does some freelance work there, but that's nothing that we have signed him up for personally. Can I get the next slide, Dom? Okay, and on to finances. Something that we really struggled with at first was trying to allocate our budget properly. We wound up coming in very under budget. We wound up having $40 left of unallocated funds, which is something that I think personally we would like to change in the future, maybe use up more of our funds. But yeah, from the $100, we spent about $20 on the domain name, another $16 on Squarespace, and the photo shoot that we booked for Nolan in order to revamp his image was also $20. Okay, Dominic, I think this is you now.
All right, so these are our long-term goals for Nolan. So far right now, he has a few songs that he wants to release, compiled as an EP, going through the stages of grief. And he also was thinking about making a music video in the form of a movie so that each video flows into each other, sort of forming a movie-like video. So we're planning on doing that. Hopefully we can book some local shows and plan a local tour for him, and maybe that'll land him a publishing deal in the future, get him some more opportunities, possibly branch out to a nationwide tour at some point. So, yeah. And thank you. I think that's everything, right?
Who did the legal work? And you've got everything's buttoned up. You have all your releases and contracts and stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be in the binder.
Any
yeah.
big problems there?
No, we didn't have any issues there. No.
You know, you didn't make $40 profit. You just lost only $60 rather than $40. You know, rather than $100. So that profit would be in addition to recovering the $100 before you got a profit. But still, you did bring in some money, and that's a positive thing. How did you find your artist?
We just, the list that Dr. Lowe sent out, I think we just interviewed a few people, and Nolan stood out.
He's been performing in the city for quite a while, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So he's had no structure to his, you brought some structure to it, you brought a website to it, you didn't.
Yeah, he's a sophomore here, so he's been, he's been working with Loyola students here, I think, over the past 2 years. But yeah, I think we just helped him get his brand and his name a little bit.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. I didn't totally buy the whole psychedelic thing, and I think I commented on that when I created your website, but I thought the video was really great, and I thought it worked. So good job on that. I'm going to say the same things for everybody. I appreciate that you talked about your web and your social media analytics. So the next step now is to use that to analyze your performance and then figure out how to meet your goals. So if you didn't have anybody look at the website 3 days in a row and then suddenly you had 12 people look at the website, what happened that day to make people look at the website, and how can you make that happen every day? Nice job.
I really like the stages of grief concept. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to hear more of that, and so I look forward to that EP. One suggestion, what you could have used the $40 for would have been having somebody cart a piano into the music video. One of the things that bothers me to no end is when piano players take pictures and do videos with a keyboard. It sort of destroys the whole thing, the whole vibe of being a piano player when you can see their feet underneath the keyboard stand. So maybe pay somebody to haul in a piano next time for the video. Okay.
Another thought on that is photos. So of course, when you have an artist, it's great to have both live photos and stage photos. And the photo of the group, of course, is very dark. So yeah, just invest in that, making really good photos. Yeah, I'm impressed by the video. It's a very creative, low-budget video. Good job on that, y'all.
Who's your target audience?
Our target audience is very difficult to define. What we've been doing is we've mostly been marketing to the Loyola student population because he is a face that everyone sees around campus. It's easier to pull people in for the gigs. But ideally, I think more of our target range would be probably adults like 30 to 50s. I'd say maybe even a bit broader.
Think about this, just in case if you guys keep working with Nolan or if he's in here and picks up on this. So you're talking about doing touring and stuff like that. What about a gig at a hotel, a bar? I mean, you're talking about 30 to 50. You talk about business professionals going out for a drink at the end of the day. A lot of people who play piano get gigs like that here in town. Might be something to think about. One more question. On the Instagram, I noticed you guys had some drawn visual art. Did you get the licenses for that?
We did not.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it.
It's okay. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. Don't do it again. Make sure that if someone creates art for your Instagram, remember that they're the author of it. They own the copyright, and you want to make sure it gets released and transferred over.
Sounds
so
good.
you good.
Thanks, you guys. One of the great things about teaching this class is that I get to know every incoming music industry student and pop comm student, and so many of the musicians in the groups. You know, as they are freshmen, I get to know them and I get to know their music. The next group's artist is a student that I also taught in the intro class. It was great to hear him as an artist in this project. The group's name is Renaissance, and their manager is Maggie Feldman.
Thank you. Hi, as Dr. Lowe said, my name is Maggie. I'm the manager for our company, Renaissance. Our goal here at Renaissance is to provide a platform to promote talented artists and to sort of develop and refine the skills that they already possess. So the first artist we signed is Loyola's very own Derek Taylor. Derek is a DJ, rapper, and producer from St. Louis, Missouri. He's known for DJing local venues here in New Orleans like The Republic, Gasa Gasa, and The Willow. We decided to choose him as our artist because as a group, we collectively believed in his abilities as a musician, and he already has somewhat of a presence for himself established, so we thought it would be interesting to sort of develop upon that. So here you see Derek before we signed him, and this is DT prior to him becoming a part of the Renaissance team. So our brand for DT is sort of a sleek and simple focused vibe. We think that this represents Derek as a fresh and modern artist and is extremely marketable. So next, Max is going to talk a bit about our song.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm the A&R for Renaissance, and I produced the song with DJ DT, or Derek Taylor. And the song features Loyola sophomore Skylar Allen, and together we collectively created the song with the nice authoritative, jubilant vibe that really represents not only Derek as a producer, but now moving forward as an artist with vocals. And we made the track Slippin', which is split 3 ways between us, as I was the producer, Derek was the vocal artist, and Skylar wrote the song. So we'll show you in a minute here. I'll pass the mic off to DJ to play you the video. And we decided to choose DistroKid as our distribution platform, as it was only $20 to create an account with unlimited uploads for albums and tracks for 1 year. And the artist collects 100% of the profit as compared to competitors such as CD Baby and TuneCore, where it's a little bit pricier and not as affordable for our budget. So here's DJ, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the video.
So my name's DJ. I was the creative director for Renaissance. The entire video for Slippin' was actually influenced by Derek himself. So he came to us with a set location already in mind and the general idea for the video. So we just took that, had fun with his ideas, and wanted to get across his authoritative message. And we managed to save money in the making of the video because I filmed it myself. Me and Max helped edit it, and then we uploaded it ourselves, and it came out pretty good. We didn't spend anything on it. We borrowed cameras, so we saved money there, and we'll let you see a small clip of it.
Golden jewels that's dripping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. Hey, drinks you catch me sipping. Whips I might be whipping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. Yeah, golden jewels that's dripping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. Yeah, drinks you catch me sipping. Whips I might be whipping. You can't catch me slipping. You can't catch me slipping. Hey.
All right, so I'm Nick, and I ran marketing for Renaissance. So with our marketing plan for Derek, we chose a web-based marketing plan. Essentially, we ran social media and focused more so on our website. And we chose that because his target audience was urban youth, and that seems to be the biggest, the biggest platform for them. So we refined his presence on both social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we chose Instagram because that had the most amount of users for his accounts, first off. We chose Facebook because we were able to take advantage of the events tab and create multiple events where we were able to maintain our relationships with whoever the fans were attending these events. And then we used Twitter, and we took advantage of the analytics aspect of that, and we were able to target in on the best points best times to, you know, like post and whatnot, as well as what engagements and what tweets we were getting the best, you know, engagements on. So here's some examples actually of some posts. These got our best engagements. These were from the video and from the show that we had. Next slide, please. Now for our website, we chose Tumblr, and we chose Tumblr for a handful of reasons. The first being that it was a free web host, and the second being that it was fairly customizable, being a free web host. Now with the money we saved on the Tumblr web host, we purchased the domain from namecheap.com for $9, and that essentially gave us a fully customizable website for only $9 for 1 year. Next slide, please. Now, this website, if you go to the top left, has a menu tab where you're able to maneuver onto a music tab where you can stream live music directly embedded through SoundCloud, as well as a events tab where you're able to see previous and future events coming up for DT. We have all the social media links embedded, and we also have a mailing list. Next, I'll pass it to Guillermo, who's talking a little bit more about live shows.
Hello, I'm Guillermo. I'm the co-A&R, and we recently had our live show this past Saturday at the Willow at 11, and so we have this is the poster right here that we promoted on our social media, and we also created a Facebook event about the show, and we had a good turnaround of people show up, and we had about 140 people show up. Also, we had stickers to give out at the show in exchange for emails, and we received about 300 emails, and I'm gonna pass it to Allie.
Thanks. I'm Allie, and I handle legal affairs for Renaissance. The most important legal issues that we handle for Derek were signing him up for BMI and Sound Exchange. This was because it allows him to collect royalties when his music is streamed on Apple Music, Spotify, other platforms, and so that if his music is used at venues, it ensures that he will receive royalties for it. Can you go to the next slide for me? I also want to talk about some issues we faced in signing our artists. Originally, we had signed 2 artists as a collaborative effort, and this was QDT. After recording a song and mixing the song, we realized that the artists just did not mesh well together, and we ended up having to drop Q from this project, the project of DT, and we ended up focusing all our time and efforts into branding DT as a solo artist. We're proud of how he turned out.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our expenses over the semester. So we had a starting budget of $120, and we actually came in $20 under budget, which was pretty awesome. So some of the expenses included stickers, a domain name, registration for DistroKid, and transportation and other miscellaneous sort of expenses in there. We got to save a little bit of money because our group members did some of the artwork and the work on the song and the video, which was pretty awesome. So next slide, please. So what to expect from Derek? We expect Derek's following on social media and his hits on SoundCloud and Spotify to continue growing. Because of the growing urban music market in New Orleans, we believe DT's fan base will continue to expand, and we hope you guys all follow Derek on social media and go listen to his new track, Slippin'. So this is DT, and we're Renaissance, so thank you.
Guys, question for you. When you started the presentation and you had that first photo of DT and the face cut out, it was a little bit blurry. I noticed at least the face on that photo was a little blurry. And then your later stuff, like your promo, for the show with the moving head, that was much more clear. I don't know if there may have been something with the format of the photo or however y'all shot it, but the clear photo, when I first saw that, I went, ooh, you don't want that to be blurry. You want that face to be nice and clear. We
actually have some.
Yeah, can I just see that close up? Yeah. Because I was going to say that. Yeah, no. That's the thing. If you're gonna do that, make sure the photos are clear. Other than that, I mean, good stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very solid presentation. My only curiosity was, were stickers really expensive?
Yeah, so they actually were. I mean, if you could feel them, they're kind of like really good quality, which we were like happy about since we saved a lot of money because we did a lot of the stuff ourselves. We thought it would be awesome to get sort of like good quality stickers, so we spent the majority of our budget on that.
I want to throw one more thing in if it's okay. So one of the things I noticed in your video, and I say this, so I do music law, but my main practice, I defend like corporations and stuff in litigation, car accidents, all that stuff. I was watching your video. When you had him sitting on top of that car and it was rolling really slow, I'm going to tell you right now, the defense attorney me went, ooh, that's going to be a liability issue if someone falls off that car. So just, you know, when you guys are shooting music videos, you know, and that goes for all y'all. When you're shooting music videos, make sure that you're careful because people get injured. You don't have insurance in place, you know, maybe you don't have an LLC in place that's running the video. You got some personal issues going on in terms of liability. So please watch your back on that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I also really like the use of the GIF for the show. That's very attention grabbing. That was good.
Yeah, I just want to echo the need for high resolution graphics, right? I mean, you guys spend a lot of money on stickers, and this is not high resolution, you know. So the other thing is, I like the song a lot, but to me the song and the visuals of the artist didn't match up. I was expecting something more upbeat, more happy, kind of. I mean, that's the way. You kind of have some of his visual, like that last photograph of him, I think is a great photograph. It's probably the best one you all had in your presentation was that last one where he's smiling and looking happy. That's not a happy song, you know? So it was, think about that when you're trying to blend the music with the image of kind of what's the brand package that we're looking at here. So just making sure that the brand sort of reinforces the expectations of the music and vice versa.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you had to kind of switch gears with your artist part of the way through because your video and your songs, I thought, really turned out very well. So congrats for that. I was not familiar with that distributor that you're using, and they sound kind of almost too good to be true. So I would just kind of caution you to look at the pros and cons when you're doing that because, yes, the artist is getting all of the money and everything, but what's the trade-off exactly?
I think it's the best for... I don't mean to jump in too much, but I took Billy O'Connell's marketing class last semester, and he highly encourages students to use it, so I tried using it about last spring, and I've had some good luck with it. So for any of you who are looking for a distributor, check out DistroKid.
Great, thanks.
No, I think you're right. DistroKid is the best. There's a website called SongHack, and he's got a chart of all the different distribution channels, all the online channels, and he rates them according to what you would do to use them. And DistroKid comes out on top, depending on the particular use, which would fit this project. I also was very surprised and pleased that you did the videos yourself, you did the songs yourself, you produced stuff. There's a few more people on stage than on this list we're looking at, but I assume that everybody had their role and your legal issues are buttoned up, right? The only thing I saw was a little bit inconsistency in the branding of this artist. At one point there's a crown next to his name. Where did that come from? But the type that you're using for him is really cool and kind of interesting.
I don't want to get too much into it, but explain the crown quick. The Renaissance, which is the label that we uploaded his music through.
Your logo.
We had a few other artists under that label that we used that crown to identify them with that label. And if you type in Renaissance, you go to the website, it's actually, we put the rooks on either side just to match up with the crowns of the artists. And on the Renaissance website, it is complacent with the website of DT. So
I thought your graphics were good. I thought the presentation was good, and you obviously put a lot of work into this. Thank you very much for your effort.
Thank you.
All right. We've done 6. We have 5 to go. We're moving right along. Those of you who are going to go Wednesday night, please sit there and think to yourselves how you can blow these folks away. Because now that you've had a whole evening of presentations to see, you have 2 more days to plan. So we expect a lot out of you Wednesday nighters. And we're going to have a whole new faculty panel for you to present to on Wednesday night. All right. The next group, believe it or not, has a song called Slippin'. What are the odds? This is Sky Sounds, and their manager is Alexa Runyon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I'd like to start off by just introducing the group. So I'm Alexa Runyon. I am the manager. We also have Pierre Thevenot, who is our A&R. We have Clara Smith, our creative, Larson Moy, our legal, and Marius Toussaint, our marketing. So we're going to start out just to watch a little bit of our music video to give you a little vibe about what Lip Candy is all about.
But I see everything, and they don't know what I've got coming. But I'm just realizing that some things just don't make sense. But these thoughts I put to rest. Oh, could it be that we're just living? 'Cause I want to not feel you like you feel me. But these words that you told me don't mean nothing.
So that was our music video. It featured, obviously, our singer Thomas Getz. And our drummer was Connor Zeringer, and our bassist was Alan Howard. I'm going to pass it off to Pierre to talk a little bit about how we met our artist.
So our artist is Thomas Getz. He's a guitarist and singer from Fort Worth, Texas. He's been playing guitar since 7th grade, and I would say his sound is really influenced by bands like Highly Suspect, Captures in the Bottlemen, and Brand New. So after we all agreed to sign Thomas, we linked him up with Connor Zeringer and Alan Howard, and they quickly linked and clicked, and it didn't really take them long to start getting shows after they came up with the name Lip Candy, and yeah, since they formed, they've just been doing shows left and right, and it's just been awesome. But I would say when we the recording process was definitely a difficulty for our song. It took us about at least 15 hours in the studio, and a total of 3 retrackings. We were really lucky to get a TA. We had to get a new TA, Joseph Kalb. He helped us a lot, and he did a lot of mixing on his own time, so we were really lucky to have him. But yeah, Slippin's now out on all platforms, and the music video is out on YouTube. Check it out.
All right, next we'll have a few words from Larson.
All right, like Alexa said, I'm the legal representative for our group, and in such I have a variety of different contracts, but the most important one, in our opinion, was the artist agreement. And in our artist agreement, we decided that the profits from the live shows, if they were lower than $200, they'd be given directly to the band for them to split it up evenly. Past that marker, it would be evenly divided between the group and Sky Sounds. And our other sources of profits would be split up between us and the band 50-50 evenly. And we also signed Thomas Getz as the key member of our agreement. Bassist Alan Howard and drummer Connor Zeringer are musicians hired to play on the recording and on live shows. And next, I will give it to Alexa for the budget.
So to get started with our marketing efforts for Lip Candy, we determined a intended budget of $120, and we divided that evenly between the 5 of us and Thomas, our artist. We did end up spending $15 more than we had planned, but we all feel that the money that we spent for it was well spent and resulted in some really great products, which we'll talk about in just a second. I'm going to hand it off to Clara to talk a little bit about our visuals and the efforts that we have put in towards our photo shoot, the videographer, and our logos as well.
So I wanted to have a theme throughout the 3 main things I did, which were the logos, the video, and the photo shoot, which were all works for hire because I wanted them all to be very high quality. So for the logos, I sketched them all out, so like the Lip Candy logo and then a Sky Sounds logo, and then I sent it to a friend who's in the design program who put him, who made them graphics. Same with the video. I made a storyboard, and then I worked with a student videographer here. And then with the photo shoot, I worked with a student photographer to really get the style Thomas wanted, which was grungy, alluring, and mysterious across.
We also use these photos and logos on our website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. Using the logos, Marius, our marketing representative, did create 500 stickers, which was part of our expenses that we passed out at live shows, promoted different gigs, and passed out in exchange for emails as well. Marius created the website with Bandzoogle and built the social media accounts alongside our artist. Currently, our Facebook page does have 39 likes, our Instagram account has 167 followers, and our Twitter account has 20 followers. We also collected 25 emails through our MailChimp service. All of these were collected within the last 3 months because they are a new band, all the social media was new. All of our work in social media paid off because our music video within the first week of it being released, we did have over 530 views, which was a larger reach than we had expected, and we were very happy with it. We predict continued growth with Lip Candy's following in the next coming years because they grew so quickly in the last 3 months, and we definitely plan to continue our social media efforts. Next to Pierre, a little bit about our gigs.
So since forming, Lip Candy has done a handful of shows. The first being was at a Freshman 15 event at the Willow, and they performed to a crowd of about 20, but it was a really good show, and they really showed off their stage presence and energy on stage. And then a couple weeks later, they did another show. They were asked to open for Sleaze, a upperclassmen Loyola band, at their album release party. Shout out Sleaze. They played alongside Web Tape also that night, but about 100 people showed up, and there was just a great crowd, great energy. Everybody was jumping, having a great time. There's some minor injuries, but it was all good. But it was a great night, and then after the show, Marius came out the house with a bag of stickers, and everybody lined up. Everybody was really excited, so I think that was a really good look for them. And here's Alexa. She's going to talk about some of those shows.
One of our most difficult shows that we've had thus far was our show at Circle Bar. For those of you that did end up coming out to it, unfortunately, a lot of us were kicked out of the bar because it turned out to be a 21 and over show. But several people did end up staying and watching the show through the window, which was very cool to see how many people really did want to stay and just listen to their music. And the next show after that paid off because I believe we had, close to 60 people that came to see it. That was their most recent gig at the Hi-Ho Lounge. The gig was particularly important for Lip Candy's career because they did win the attendance contest and won an interview in the Crescent magazine, which just happened last weekend, and it should be released within the next couple of weeks, I would assume. The interview will be published soon, and it's highly possible that Lip Candy's single Slippin' will start to be played on WTUL radio, which is the only radio station for college radio in the New Orleans area. Next slide, please. So in the coming years, Sky Sounds does plan to keep pushing Lip Candy towards tours. I realize I'm running out of time. But Lip Candy is definitely focused on playing a lot of live shows because that seems to be where obviously the music industry is heading towards. While they are planning on releasing a lot of recordings, most of their money will be coming from tours and live concerts, and our goal is to keep pushing social media so that we get a lot of attendance at those shows. We also do plan to get some radio play, hopefully in the coming years, both at the WTUL and also in some other college stations in states nearby. Awesome, thank you.
The band are not considered to be principals. There's only one person who's a principal, everybody else is a hired person. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. We did. We had auditions at the beginning of the project, and we emailed several people. We talked to different people that we did know. We auditioned Thomas as himself solo, and then we went out and searched for different a bassist and a drummer to put onto the recording and play with him.
Do you think that it would become a group, or is it just a solo artist with hired musicians?
We're thinking that it's starting to become like a solid group. We weren't really sure at first, which is why we hired them that way as well. But maybe at the end of our group agreement that we've signed, we'll develop it into a group agreement, like with the whole artist.
I thought it was great that you did so many live gigs, and that's the key to it all, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And who booked these gigs?
Pierre will talk to you about that one.
I mean, we've just been meeting a lot of people, and they've been asking Thomas to, I actually booked one gig for this Saturday for Thomas, but he's just been meeting people, and people like Lip Candy, they've been asking him to do gigs. And we set up the first Freshman 15 also, you know.
It sounded like you had some real gigs. Did you make any money at all?
That was on the slideshow. I just had kind of a feeling, but we think about it.
You made some money on the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, so we haven't actually, as a group personally, haven't actually seen that money. But the money that was raised based on cover charges at the Willow and the Hi-Ho Lounge, I think it was somewhere around $400, because 2 of those shows were free, which was the release party and the Circle Bar, which was, for us personally, it was more to get their name out and publicity, especially that sleaze party. But we did make just over, with cover charges, it was about $400 to $500 of profit.
I think you win the prize on that so far. Good deal.
Yeah, I'll just echo that and say whatever you're doing in order to build that buzz, you need to keep doing because it's working out well. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking on what John said, I would encourage you all, I mean, since you put these 2 people together, it seems like Thomas is the principal, right? He's the main person. He's the songwriter. He's doing everything. I like that that you have Lip Candy, but I would like it even more if it was Lip Candy for a solo artist, right? So solo art, I love when solo artists don't go by, they go like by a band name as opposed to just like their individual name. And so one thing that was a little bit confusing to me is I wanted to spend my time focusing on Thomas because you told me that he's the principal, but you've got pictures and photos and of the other 2 members. And so not to say that, look, they're bad people, but if you have a focus, right? And if you're paying people to come and play and perform and record, then they're getting their compensation, right? They don't need to be in the photos, right? And so really focus on the image of Thomas, which is the person who you all are putting your energies behind. So just make sure that your sort of messaging and your marketing they're meeting up. But it was good.
Thank you. That's great advice.
Yeah, great job, y'all. I'm glad that you mentioned press and radio because that's the kind of thing where you get quotes, it adds to your media machine. You know, that's kind of an important thing that you guys talked about. That was great. Are Thomas's songs licensed?
Yes, we're actually in the process of licensing their songs. We just licensed him with BMI, I believe, and working on the song rights.
So we just licensed him on, we registered him for BMI, and we are currently in the process of registering his song on BMI also. So,
cool, very good.
Yeah.
Couple of questions. You said that the live shows, if you guys make over $200, it's divided evenly. Would that be, when you say evenly, is it 4 ways? Is it, how does it work?
Yeah, so that's evenly with every single member of the band and every member of the group as well.
Okay, so each of you individually gets a
Yes.
cut evenly. That's what I was wondering.
Yes.
So it's not 4 ways, it's 8 ways.
Yes.
Woo, okay. that changes the pot of money a little bit here. Interesting. Also, you mentioned that there were some issues with the recording. You said it took 15 hours to record just that one song? Let's talk about that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. The first session was just about a 5-hour session, and we weren't really happy with how it sounded. Like the mix wasn't right. There's a lot of leveling issues, and then we actually paid an engineer to re-track everything, re-record everything, and Thomas was up till 7 a.m. working in the studio. Started probably at 10, and then they had a third session also where they did some more. mixing, and it was just like, at least 15 hours. We're finally like happy with how the mix sounds.
Okay, so you guys had a bunch of different people working on the recording throughout the process?
We had 2 different TAs.
So 2 TAs engineering. What about mixing?
The same engineer mixed the song.
Okay.
On his like own time, and actually Thomas is in the works of getting the song like remixed and remastered, and he wants to drop it like on an album in like the coming year or so.
And one more question: I heard I heard some backing vocals. Who did those?
That was also Thomas.
Okay, so he did those on top of it. Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.
All right, come on down. I want to thank our faculty panel for the great comments and questions. We're really lucky to have you guys, and in particular, Rachel, since UP had to go home sick, it was just very fortuitous that you were here. So great, thank you so much.
I'm having a lot of fun, y'all. Thank you.
Good. It is fun. We have Lava Kite Records. Their artist is Summer Kialoha, and their manager is Wesley Daniels. Oh, their legal member, James Carrera, he dropped the course, so they went on with just the 4 of them with no legal member, I guess, dividing the responsibilities among them. So here you go, Wesley.
Thanks, Dr. Lowe. I'm Wesley. I'm the manager of Lava Kite Records, and this is our team. Riley in marketing, Gustavo as A&R, and Emily in creative. Our mission statement is to find small town artists and to keep them true to their style while helping them develop and find larger, broader audiences to have a following with. And here's Riley to talk about our logo.
So I designed Summer's logo using Adobe InDesign, and I wanted to create the logo so that it helped promote Summer's new identity as a performer. And if you look at the screen, you can see the bottom of the logo shows Hawaii, which is where Summer's from, Hawaii, Hawaii, which is where the start of her passion for music happened. And then the top of the logo shows the New Orleans skyline, which is the starting point for Summer's career as a jazz musician.
As Riley mentioned, Summer is originally from Hawaii, so most of her works, her early works, have a Hawaiian style of music influence, and then she also likes to perform cover work of blues and jazz. Once she moved to New Orleans, she was more heavily influenced with the blues and jazz vibe of the city, and she currently performs at Prohibition Bar and Balcony on Bourbon Street. And here's Gustavo to talk about the session.
So our songs were recorded at Loyola University Recording Studios. Our TA was Sean Johnson. Our session musicians were Nolan Tecklenburg on piano, Michael Salgado on bass and guitar, and Bones on drums. They were all hired. They were really good. Our recording session went great overall. It ran smooth, and we were able to listen back and make sure everything sounded how we wanted it to sound, and fix any errors or imperfections. And we were able to record 2 songs with the 5 hours of studio time. So our first song is called When I See. It was our main focus going into the recording session. It's a song about being in love, and it's an emotional song, and we feel like you can really hear the emotion in her voice in the recording, which was what we wanted to sound. Can you? This is it. No, it's on iTunes, and yeah. Oh, well.
Dig deep into my skin, munch away my bones, wanna feel everything, don't wanna be alone. And I'm still thin cause my mind is building, and I still spin cause the ground is spinning. I crumble before the moon, your love is coming soon. When I see your eyes.
So, and our second song was Bat Nearby. This was really a spontaneous recording that we decided to do. Well, she brought it up and we said, like, let's go for it with the time we had remaining. And the song has a much more blues feel to it, where you can really see and hear Summer's roots and influences in this song. And there's an instrumental section where we let the musicians show their improvisational skills and rip out some solos. You'll hear the song up next in the video with Emily.
All right, so our music video is with the song Bad Nearby, like Gustavo just said. And when coming up with the video, Summer, our artist, was the one who kind of came up with the idea. She wanted to film the nightlife on Bourbon Street, where she feels like most of her creativity and artistic vision for the song came from. So we wanted to show that within the video. During the shoot, we went to Bourbon. We filmed a bunch of, neon signs, places, drunk people, the works. One of the main challenges was that it was very late notice, and I did not have a camera and had to borrow someone else's camera, which had coincidentally died as we were filming. So I had to use my iPhone at the last minute, and I did my best with what I had, and editing was not much better, where I lost a bit of the footage, so it just all kind of was a train wreck. So, I did my best with what I had, and the video itself is just kind of following her down Bourbon Street. Doesn't really show her performing the song because she didn't feel comfortable doing that, and we felt like it didn't really, maybe show her like in the best way, I guess. And so we kind of just focused on the nightlife and everything that had fit the vision for her video. And with that being said, here's a part of the video.
Good high up, bad nearby. Good high up, bad nearby. You got your good high up, and your bad nearby. You got your good high up, and your bad. Got your bad nearby. You got your good high up, your bad nearby. Was raised in a time that it wasn't okay to cry. You sleep all day, you work all night. Crazy fucking memory.
So Summer previously had a website that was more centered around booking gigs, and it was kind of outdated. So when focused on the website, I wanted to redesign her website so that it had a more modern feel that reflected her new jazz side in New Orleans. And I wanted the website to have a lot of colorful pictures and just not too simplistic to represent this like NOLA lifestyle, which you can definitely hear in her music. Summer also had some social media websites, but they had been inactive since 2010, so I really wanted to focus on adding more posts about live performances, newer pictures, newer content to follow. One thing that I was really proud of was the addition of a Bands in Town account, which I think would be a great way for Summer to connect with other artists, and it's a more organized schedule for her followers to follow. So yeah. And then we also have the advertising side of our project. I created this poster for her live show, which is tomorrow night. We want to focus on getting as many emails as possible at the live show. We also have a MailChimp for her so that she can use it in the future.
Our future plans as a company is to find more artists, small town artists that we can help develop to get more of a following, become more well known. And then for Summer, we would like her to tour more and play live so people can just hear her music and get to know what she's about. Our strengths and challenges. Strengths were getting everything done on time. All the group members were able to make it to all the meetings and the artist events. Our biggest challenges were scheduling with the group because everybody has crazy schedules, and communication was a little bit difficult between the artists and the group. And that's it.
Two things. First of all, great job. She has a great voice. But let's talk about these stickers here and how you guys shape this logo. Because I'm looking at it. I see you did a square. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, this would look so much better as a rectangular logo, you know, more spread out when you're looking at the skyline and the islands, because it looks like one of these little islands here at the corner is a little cut off. I caught that pretty early on. So when you're doing a logo where you're, you know, showing something wide lengthwise, you might want to spread it out a little bit. You know, don't be shy. And I know y'all are on limited budget, but don't be shy to, you know, spread it out a little bit and show that skyline, show those islands, give that full picture. One more question though. In the video, you mentioned Summer did not want to be shown performing. Is that what you said?
I think it was more of she didn't want to lip sync to the song because she felt like, you know, she didn't feel like that was going to be the right thing for the video.
Okay. Because when I was watching it, I was just thinking to myself, man, this is like a performance song. You know, I want to see her groove into this. I want to see her get into this. But that's how I felt it at least.
All right. My biggest thought is I could have heard more concise, descriptive language about her and her style. I heard a lot of genres. I heard jazz. I heard blues. I heard the word influences a lot, but I didn't hear a lot of very precise language that you could, you know, think about the elevator pitch compared to other artists maybe. So that was the biggest thing I heard, but yeah.
I really like the Hawaii, Hawaii, New Orleans connection. And I think that you all are right to play that up. I think that an idea is only as good as its execution. I think that the current way that you all have tried to link New Orleans and Hawaii could use some work. But it is a good idea, and you're right to follow it. How did y'all spend your money?
We spent most of our money on advertisement, so the stickers, and then we also bought the domain and then the monthly subscription to the website.
When you're producing a record, you know, if you're going to play up this New Orleans, Hawaii thing, for me at least, and this is somebody who's not super familiar with Hawaiian music, but as a layman, I didn't hear anything Hawaii about it, and I wanted to, right? Because I was really excited, like, wow, Hawaiian with a Nashville vibe, or a New Orleans vibe, or New Orleans with a Hawaii vibe. I was really looking forward to that, and I didn't get it. So when you're producing a record, you got to make sure that stuff comes out, you know, and you got to pull it out from your artist, even if it's not coming.
She had like a gazillion views on YouTube. Is that all from your video, or is that from other stuff?
She had a previous account that she had done through high school and through her college career with other videos of her performing live.
Okay, so she may have people already following her, and I would urge you to capitalize on that. With the video, and this goes for the group earlier that had the iPhone issue too, that's going to happen. And at that point, you have to convince your artist that a nighttime shoot is not a great idea because it's going to be so much more forgiving to film with an iPhone during the day. So pro tip for everybody, but nice job.
Thanks.
So the legal work you split up, is that what you did?
James actually decided to help us out, so he's still working on legal stuff with us, even though he's not in the class.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much for what you did. We appreciate it. That was great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have District Records. District Records is also missing a member. Their legal representative is AWOL. So they are sharing her work in the presentation. And their artist is Tristan Jones, artist named Civic, and their manager is Lauren Kidd.
Thank you. All right, hello, we are District Records. My name is Lauren Kidd, and like Dr. Liz said, I'm the manager. This is Austin Riddle. He is our marketing director. We have Jack Riley, who is A&R, and Marco Sa was our creative director, and Maddie Ritter was our legal. So District Records, our logo and brand was kind of inspired by the 13 districts of New Orleans. From these districts, there's been many, it's home to many of like the most influential people musician-wise, so say Lil Wayne, Big Frida, Louis Armstrong. So as a group, we are a production company based in New Orleans, and we're passionate about preserving the creative vision of our artists while simultaneously moving them forward in the music industry. So now I'm going to hand it off to Jack to tell you about our artist, Civilian.
So as with District Records as a whole, we knew that we wanted to get an instrumentalist, and luckily we stumbled upon Tristan Jones, who's a rapper and a classically trained jazz saxophonist. Upon meeting him, he was very enthusiastic and had a lot of his own ideas, but most importantly, he was super funny. He had a great sense of humor. So we chose to market his sense of humor mostly, and we wanted to filter all of his ideas, which was quite a few, into an accessible single that focused on his sense of humor. So he came to us with a beat that he produced and lyrics. The beat was kind of like an 8-bit beat. It sounded like it could have come from a video game. And he had some humorous rhymes for it, and it almost served as like a satire to like popular rap music of the day. And we also wanted to include his saxophone playing in the song. So us as a group produced another part, which was a jazz-influenced part. It was kind of slow, lurching, a big contrast to the original part. And it featured vocals from a Loyola freshman, Kaylin Arnold. It had keyboard playing from Austin and drumming from Marco. And most importantly, it had Tristan's saxophone playing on it. And this part of the song kind of served to ground Tristan as an artist after the initial part of the song really prodded at absurdity. And next up, we're going to play some of the video, and you'll hear the song, and I'm going to hand it over to Marco to talk about the video.
In my head, can I get them out? Now I'm a broke bitch, can I get a house? Sink or swim, bitch, you need to breathe out. I'm so goddamn tired. I'm so goddamn tired. I'm so goddamn tired. I'm so goddamn tired.
All right.
So what you just saw was the transition between the final verse in the song and the outro of the song in the music video. And essentially the concept for the video was a delirious civilian goes on a drive alone, and along his journey picks up different increasingly wacky and zany characters. Each character he picks up is more absurd than the last, and as he does this, different psychedelic, kind of glitchy looking visuals begin to happen and build in intensity until they stop completely. And Civilian suddenly realizes he is in the car alone again when the song dramatically changes. So Tristan's name is Civilian, and his demeanor is one that is very approachable and kind of absurd. And his persona is kind of centered around being goofy as opposed to being like cool and clouded out like many other rappers that may have a similar style to him. So this is a big reason why we kind of went the more funny do-it-yourself route with the music video. We were trying to accomplish a music video that came out strong because it was clever, creative, and well executed, as opposed to it coming out strong because we spent a lot of money on it. I saw that the strengths of Tristan's music kind of lie in its absurdity and its comedy, and I wanted the video to play to his strengths. And Austin is going to tell you more about how we played to Tristan's strengths in marketing him.
So basically, I did a lot of research on social media and the best way to present an artist, or anyone for that matter, whether it's a business or an artist. So the best way to do that, after watching a bunch of YouTube videos and reading up on people that have been using social media a long time, it said to kind of get all of your social media platforms and piggyback them off of the one that was the most successful. And for us, that was Instagram. We gained, we have more than that now. We have like closer to 300 now, but we gained 230 in only 2 months. So we just really use that to help out our market platforms such as Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook, which you can use through your Instagram pages. So next slide. And so for distribution, we used a company called Amuse, and that's probably the best aggregator that we could find, because actually I've had personal use with it, and it's done everything that CD Baby did, and it's completely free. So, and it even markets on Pandora and puts like little clips of like mini commercials, and it's all free, and you get 100% of the profit. So, it's actually worked a lot. Next slide. Oh, and we had 13 people sign up to our MailChimp after our live performance. And then for the website, I wanted to play to Civilian's strengths, such as his vibe is very industrial and mechanic, while very comedic, and he just doesn't take himself very seriously, and I think that's very admirable about an artist, because a lot of people can relate to that, and I really wanted to use that, like even in the logo, in the font of his name, just very edgy and unfinished almost. And so for the theme of the website, we use a lot of black and white. If you go into the website, there's events, and even where you can sign up for MailChimp, it's all black and white, because we actually did some research, and University of Chicago said, and I'm paraphrasing, black and white themes lead viewers to pay attention to core content instead of unimportant themes of the product. So using that actually helped a lot. And in the website, we had 192 views and 48 regular visitors, and even from different countries such as Ireland and Germany. So we had a lot of success with the website. And now Jack is going to talk about the live show.
All right, so we did a little shopping around for more specifically uptown New Orleans venues, and we decided that as Civilian is a young rapper with a young artist, that the Willow would probably be the best place for us to book a show. So we booked a show with a handful of other artists. We counted 33 people, and it was $5 admission at the door. I'll honestly tell you that we did not sign an agreement with the Willow, which is it was a learning experience for us. And we didn't make any money, and neither did any of the other artists that performed. But I guess that's just the harsh reality of playing venues as a startup artist. but for Civilian's performance, it had a fairly good reception by the audience, and there was definitely some smiles and laughs in there. And I'm gonna pass it on to Lauren to talk about finances.
So you can see our budget sheet. We started off with $100. We only spent $61.96 on photography, the website, and the District Records logo. That should say total net. And so we have like $38.04 left that we never used. But when we were meeting with our artist, he was kind of unsure as to what his plans were for the future. So we spent majority of our time focusing on publicity and branding rather than focusing on retail solely and just spending money on things that we weren't really sure if we'd get that money back. But yeah, so that's that. And I'm gonna pass it on to Marco to talk about some of our strengths.
All right, so one of our strengths that we considered we had as a group when working with Tristan was patience. And the reason for this was just because Tristan is very excitable and very uninhibited, so he has a lot of really good but really ridiculous ideas. So a lot of what us working with him as a group entailed, and what more specifically me working with him as the creative entailed, was taking his ideas into consideration and taking them seriously, but kind of dialing them back a little bit to a more reasonable and more attainable level. And this kind of plays into one of our other strengths, which was cost effectiveness. And we kind of kept this in mind throughout most of the things we did as a group. We maybe even could have afforded to be less cost effective because we came in under budget. But I definitely had this mentality when making the music video. We really didn't spend any money. I got a free trial of Premiere Pro to edit it. We shot it on an iPhone, and that was actually a choice because an iPhone is much easier to mount in a car than an actual camera. So that worked out well. And Austin can tell you some about the challenges we faced as a group.
So basically, one of the challenges was with the audio production. We just had a disconnect between the artist and the TA and their vision for the song. But we actually took it upon ourselves afterwards to remix it, and it actually came out a closer product to what we were wanting and the vision of the artist. So,
I know Lauren mentioned merchandising. We put it as a weakness, but it was more of a choice of ours not to do merchandising because we wanted to see where the artist was going to go before we put our money into it. A problem we had was decisiveness in choosing an artist and booking a live show. We just weren't quite sure what we wanted to do, but we made up for this by having regular meetings every week, and we could kind of hash out our problems and indecisiveness, and it ended up working out in the end. Thank you.
The video was funny. I mean, obviously the kid's fun. Using the word "goddamn" might limit your audience slightly in some markets. You might want to keep aware of that. The humor idea is just a great way to sell something. You can make more out of that. The distribution. This platform, does it use ads? Because I've seen a lot of free platforms, but they post their own ads.
yes. Well, actually, on Muse, the app, it actually doesn't have any ads on the app. It's an iPhone app that puts it everywhere that CD Baby would. You can't even do it on a computer. It's an iPhone app thing.
So it doesn't advertise on your site, on your platform.
You're talking about
you're not posting somebody else's ads for your stuff.
Oh no,
okay.
No.
Black and white theme I thought was a good idea. The use of Instagram I thought was a good idea. So you're on the right track, I think.
How did Tristan feel about you taking sort of his two different musical lives and putting them together into one?
It was actually his idea
Okay.
to kind of transition, because he has a lot of influence from like Kendrick Lamar, who will do a switch up, like a total different switch up in a song, and it's something totally different towards the end.
Yeah, good. I thought it worked out really well. I thought everything looked great. I just have the tiniest little nitpicky thing, which is that the logo for him, I kept thinking it said chameleon, CMIL, instead of civilian. You just need to put that in Photoshop and spread those letters out a tiny bit, and it'll be
fine. Yeah.
I thought I was the only one. Yeah, I kind of saw that and I was like, yeah, but
otherwise, great job. And I appreciate how much research you all did. Librarian, I love it. So thank you.
I just wanted to say one other thing. I thought the analytics were good. You did have pretty good analytics, which was unusual for the groups tonight. So I thought that was a positive thing as well. You said you had trouble with the TAs, and we need to straighten all that out at some point. That should be a more seamless process. We'll be working on that going forward.
Yeah, I just want to commend you on the video. I think that's a really good example of low budget done right. And you know, I was critical of other people using iPhones for their video, and I think you all kind of broke the mold on that and showed that it can be done. I will say that in the video you have what I considered low budget done right and low budget done wrong in the same video. I thought the funny part, you know, the first part, the digga, that was done right. But then when you tried to get more traditional or more, you know, just kind of conventional, it started to show, you know, but the first part was really good. I like the humor. My only problem with all the videos, it seems like y'all spent a decent amount of money on the photographs, right? But there wasn't anything funny about the photographs. Like, he's a funny guy, and I mean, the one where he's jumping into the wall, okay, yeah, that's good. But I wanted to see, like, all of them, you know, he's not serious, and he was too serious in his photos. So make sure that you, again, it's just, you know, if the humor is going to be an aspect of it, which with this artist, it seems like it absolutely has to be, make sure that everything you do reinforces that, okay?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add that you guys haven't already said. I think you guys have done a great job. The video, like he said, having a concept, great work. A little bit busy with the logo, with the font, marbled font, and the logo together. Also, I thought that was a little bit busy. But other than that, yeah, I think you guys did great.
So I totally agree with the comment about spacing out the letters. That was one of the first things I noticed as well. And I thought it said Semillion as well at first, and I went, what? So check on that. On your expense sheet, I noticed it said logo $12 a month. Is that correct? Y'all are paying a fee of $12 a month for the logo?
I thought it was.
Like, to be a subscriber of that, it's $12 a month, but Austin already was a subscriber. But we got a deal off of that.
Yeah, we only had to pay for 1 month.
1 month was all we had to pay for since we only bought the logo. And
so you had the logo licensed over to the artist completely?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just want to make sure, because when I saw that $12 a month, I was like, ooh, that's you don't want that to be a continuing expense on your artist. You want to pay a one-time fee, get everything transferred over, and you're clean, clear, ready to go.
Yeah, we only paid for 1 month.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Come on down, guys. We got 2 groups to go. I urge all the groups presenting on Wednesday night, rehearse your presentation. Please make sure it fits in 8 minutes. Make sure it fits in 7.5. Give yourself a 30-second cushion. Second to last group tonight is Sunstorm Records. Their artist is Luther Lizama, and their manager is Carl Tietze.
All right, hi, as he just said, we are Sunstorm Records. I'm Carl, the manager, and our legal person, Nolan, is going to start us off.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nolan. I do the legal work for Sunstorm Records. We are a record label and equally owned LLC. Some of the things that we look for as a label is emerging artists in New Orleans that have their own individual sound and bringing their sound to listeners around the world. So at Sunstorm Records, we have 3 main business values that we follow. We like to be passionate, authenticity, and transparency. So we're passionate in the way that we deal with our artists, and we're authentic in the way that we look for music in our artists. We want an artist that's very individual, has an authentic sound, really stands out, and we're transparent in the way that we work with our clients when it comes to forms and all that. I'll be passing it over to Bokar for the A&R.
Hi, I'm Bokar, and I'm Sunstorm Records A&R representative.
and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our artist, Luther Lizama. Luther Lizama is a 17-year-old alternative R&B and pop artist from Saipan, which is the largest of the Northern Mariana Islands. And he is a vocal performer, guitarist, and he also plays the ukulele. Now, you might ask, why Luther? Why did we choose to work with Luther? For one, he's original. He has a certain appeal, which you can hear in his voice. You can hear how unique it is as soon as you hear him sing. And on top of that, prior to working with Sunstorm Records, he was a blank canvas, which he was open-minded enough to entrust us with his brand and let us paint his image as we saw it fit. Luther's songwriting style is descriptive, emotional, which you can hear in his music, and reflective. Because his lyrics in the song had a lot of substance, we thought it best to keep the instrumental simple as to accent his vocals and let them shine through. And what makes a song is that he's actually speaking from experience. The song is an original, he wrote it all, and I'm sure that some of you will find it's very relatable. And I'll pass you to our marketing director, Connor.
Thank you, Bokar. I was marketing director, and I had the pleasure of working with Luther, great guy. So our first thing was, whenever we got him, he had no prior online experience. So our first accomplishment was creating a website for him. As you can see, our website did pretty good. It got about 3 to 4 views a day. So then after that, it was a matter of finding out which social media platforms are the best for his target audience. So I found that using Instagram as a hub to get to YouTube was the most helpful. So we built an Instagram profile from 0 followers to 214, which is now about 250. But anyways, so I used a paid ad on Instagram to promote our music video. So before our video, we were at 17 likes and 19 subscribers. But after the ad, we got to 26 subscribers. And actually, our Spotify song got over 500 plays in less than a week. So that was pretty big. Now I'm going to pass it on to Daniel.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Daniel. I was working on creative for Luther Lizama. So essentially with Luther, his image and visual strategy, we wanted to brand him as an artist for Generation Z, in his like R&B pop world. So we used lots of bright images, colors, but also we wanted to make sure that everything that we showed our audience was going to reinforce the song in his style. So the first thing that I asked Luther when I sat down with him was, what are your influences? And so immediately he said Daniel Caesar, Bruno Mars, Sam Smith. And so we talked about all these different folks and what he liked about them and what made them unique. And so we tried to take some of the things like the bright colors from the Hotline Bling video of Drake, as well as some of the moody walking that Sam Smith does in a lot of his videos, and really kind of encompass all of that. As far as his branding goes, I wanted to really make sure that like his fonts and things were really thought out. Like we know when we see the Beatles, we know that font that we associate them with. Same thing with Beyonce and all of her different albums for her different eras and things like that. So with Luther, we spent some time to really dig in on what are the words that people are going to associate with Luther. So for future singles, we could use these same fonts and people would know exactly who they're going to be listening to. So we nailed it down to these two. We liked them mainly because it showed a good contrast. And so with that, we went into collateral for Luther. We partnered with a really awesome artist named Sammy Odell. She's a photographer who did all of this work pro bono. It was very sweet of her. And so we wanted to reinforcing that Generation Z kind of thing. So we put him in the Obey sweatshirt, a very popular brand among the youngsters, as well as using the neon cloud, something fun, very Tumblr friendly, very shareable. But also you see his kind of impassioned side, his like moody looking, and he's very thoughtful in some of the pictures as well. Finally, these were the 2 prototypes for his single. Again, just trying to really nail down what exactly we thought his look and that would best complement his sound. And we finally ended up on this picture with his name right in front, just so you could see it, making sure that with the other images, it wouldn't be cropped out or anything like that. That it was a very clear, concise image of him looking towards the light. And so for the video, again, the basic concept of the video was that we had him kind of contemplating what he's talking about as he's kind of telling you the story, but also complementing it with some fun visuals that also show him really kind of telling you the story. So here's a clip.
Nothing's gonna change. I can close my eyes and fade away just to pass upon the time it's gonna take. And I'll try to see a future that'll soon come by, knowing that it only happens with a choice I make to learn and grow, make moves. I know the secret to it all is pain. Why does it have to work this way? What's making this feel like a game? On my way back from the hills, pacing through the midnight chills. I got 3 stacks for the life I want us to live. And on my way to face it all again, trying to find a way to make it end. I got 3 stacks for the sacrifices that I'll give.
And there you have it. I'm going to toss it back to Carl.
All right, thank you, Daniel. So before we started working with Luther, he was, he had a few songs worked out that he had written himself, but he had never performed any of them. He had never recorded any of his own music, never been registered with a PRO, never been in a music video. And so I think we did a good job of providing him with these opportunities. So, we had him in the studio. We put out a single through CD Baby, registered him with BMI, and we have a show with him coming up this week. Next slide, please. And here's our finances. We ended up very below our budget. We were pretty reluctant to actually spend, but also it comes down to things such as using Loyola Studios and being able to do our amazing photography and music video for free. I think that was really great for cutting our expenses. And so for the future, we really want to get a higher budget album released for Luther and a higher budget music video. And we're going to use these as content for a marketing campaign online and use that building up to a 2-month tour in the US. And we want to give Luther an artist salary of $50,000 so that he can focus on his music during this time and focusing on the tour. Thank you. Once again, we're Sunstorm Records.
That budget you just put up, who's going to pay for that? A record label?
Oh, that was given $250 in grant. No, $250,000, excuse me.
Oh, it's part of the project? Oh, okay, never mind. I won't comment on that. So, a couple of things. You guys said you had an LLC that was equally owned. Did you guys form an LLC under Louisiana law?
We have the forms, but we didn't really do the fee for the LLC, so we're in the process.
Okay, so technically you don't have one yet then. Until you're
All right.
registered with the state, you can't have one then. One of the things with the video that I picked up on, I noticed that the camera was a little bit shaky at parts and it was a little bit dark at parts. Look, I love the photography. Looked great. The colors, the lighting, I enjoyed it. But the video, you just got to watch out for that shakiness and it being a little too dark. One more thing. Look, I'm not trendy, but this Obey sweatshirt, this is a brand name, Obey?
Yes.
It's a brand name. Okay, that could be an issue depending on whether or not they have it trademarked with their brand name. So watch out for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought the visuals were stunning. The slides, great use of slides, great use of color. The cloud, I love how you worked the clouds into the music video in that one shot. We were sitting on the fence. Yeah. I also really like the 3-word mission statement idea. That's very bold, very clear. Great job, guys.
Yeah, I think the photography was fantastic, and I especially like the one that you all used here with the neon.
Thank you.
that would be the one that I roll with from here on out, at least on this, first push for marketing. I think that's far and away the best one that you all have. So I know you're trying to tie in with the Obey brand, but don't do that at the expense of the best photo in the bunch, and I think that was clearly the best one.
Yeah, same thing everyone else said. I think the visuals look great. I thought the song sounded really good, and nice job thinking about the analytics across all of your platforms and kind of looking at how they influence each other. Love that you put so much thought into the fonts. That's awesome.
The three-word passion, authenticity, transparency, you might want to consider passion, authentic, transparent. Make the words kind of consistent, or passionate and authentic. I mean, there's a more of a pure noun use of the words. Just a very small point. The PowerPoint I thought was good. You used good data. You had good data. You illustrated it well. I enjoyed the video. I think Rachel's comment is well taken, but it had more shots, more uniqueness to it, and the coming out of out of focus into focus was a nice touch. So I thought the video was very creative, and I thought the music sounded great. The sound recording was great. Thank you very much for your hard work, and that was a very nice presentation.
Thank you all so much. We appreciate it.
Nice work, you guys.
Thank you.
Come on down, you guys. Let's hear it for every group that presented tonight. And let's also hear it for all the great artists in the groups. Okay, we have one last group tonight, and then we do it again on Wednesday. And they've been waiting patiently here since 7 o'clock. Our last group is Femme Fatale, and their manager is Ma'at. Take it away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ma'at. I am the manager of Femme Fatale Incorporated, and I would like to introduce my team.
Hi, I'm Brenna, and I am in charge of marketing.
I'm Jules. I'm the A&R person.
I'm Sasha, and I'm creative.
I'm Betty, and I'm legal.
So part of Femme Fatale's mission statement is to launch a music career for an artist and create a social media and release a single and a music video. And we want to give an artist the chance to brand themselves in any way that they choose, and we just want to be there as their support system. And this is our artist, Danny Cardin.
Yeah, so our artist is Danny Cardin, and she is an 18-year-old singer-songwriter from Portland, Oregon. She plays guitar and primarily writes on guitar, but she also plays piano. And her genre is pop soul with jazz influences, and her main inspiration is Amy Winehouse, who she's often compared vocally to.
When we first signed Danny, she wanted to write and record a whole new song, so we set up meetings together where I would just kind of give her my feedback. But I really wanted to get to the bottom of Salmon Street, the single, and what that meant to her. When we went into the studio, we really only had that guitar chord sheet and lyrics. Thankfully, our musicians really brought it and made this song wonderful. With Salmon Street, it is a breakup song. It does start out sad. However, I don't think that's what Danny wanted to convey. I think it was more about being reminiscent and hopeful and not just being the way things go. Unfortunately, we did run out of studio time, and I had to not only produce it, but engineer and mix it myself. So that proved challenging.
Oh, sorry. So that was the cover art. So starting off with visualization and like the storyboarding and like all my ideas and stuff like that, Danny comes off as a very dark and kind of nonchalant person, and that's also like incorporated into her brand. So I wanted to make sure that I included that in the video as much as possible while still keeping it professional. Originally, there were 4 scenes that I had thought about. In 2 scenes, I wanted to include a love interest. Preparation-wise, we weren't as prepared as I wanted us to be. I wanted more makeup switches and outfit changes. And I also wanted to record in the studio, but it ended up being booked, and the band that played in Danny's song, not everybody could be there that day, and it was just kind of a lack of communication. So we actually had to remove an entire scene from the music video. But besides all of that happening, the shooting actually went very well. Everything went very smooth. Chris, our film guy, he was great. He had great ideas. He gave great direction. He received great direction from us, and Brenna and Betty were there too, so they pitched some great ideas along with the ideas I already had. The editing went well. It was a gruesome process because I've never edited before, never done any of that before, so it was good to have some help. We did it within 2 days, 5 hours each. Chris added some things to make it pop. So he added like filters. He added the sun going, rising in the beginning and setting in the end. And he made sure to ask my opinion. So I definitely still got to be creative throughout the process, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. And I definitely work with him again. So now we're just gonna show you a clip of the music video.
You can play it. This is the outro to the video, so it's not the same as the rest of the song would be, but we think this was the most visually captivating part of the video.
And I miss you with every passing day. All of my fears fall away. I ain't afraid, I'm just say, ain't that the way? Ain't that the way these ends usually go?
So I created the website, and my inspiration for creating this website was to basically let Danny's look speak for herself. She always has a bold lip color, and so my idea was to match the font color of the website to her lip. And so all of her captions on Instagram as well, I signed with the lip emoji to make it really representable when people are scrolling through their Instagram feeds really fast and it can see that it's Danny. And so before working with us, Danny had an Instagram and a SoundCloud. The SoundCloud had one song, and our Instagram was kind of just a mix of like selfies and just random things posted. And my first goal was to revamp her Instagram because I think Instagram's really, really big these days. And so she went from having 502 followers to 542, but I think it's now 546. And I also posted her most liked photo ever on Instagram. And so she started out with no Twitter, so it started at 0, and now it's at 21. And I didn't do any paid promotion for anything, so this is all organic. And her YouTube video started with 20 views, just completely organically, just her friends and family and us basically watching it. And then I posted on Instagram about it, and within 24 hours, it hit over 100 views, which was really exciting. And the website also has over 50 views and visitors.
Okay, so as Danny's legal representative, our Femme Fatale's main goal was obviously protecting Danny's ownership of her music and her video and all of the content that we were creating. So one of the first things we did was we registered her copyright with BMI for her single. And then also in the artist agreement, any work that Femme Fatale does with her at the end of our contract, that ownership is transferred to Danny. And then the other big thing we did was a bunch of work for hire agreements with all the musicians, with Chris, with the logo designer, all of it, just letting them know that Danny's the owner of all of this once this contract is, once our contract is over, and that everything we've done is just for her service. It's all transferred to her after. So yeah. And then for the budget, excuse me, we spent most of our budget on the video. We spent $56 shooting and editing the video, and then $20 in pizza as payment for the band's participation on the recording, and $15 on CD Baby as the single, which was our aggregator. We used CD Baby, which gave us $91 in total expenses. And then for our live show, we did it at Satchmo's, and we had a suggested donation, so we had no income because we are poor college students. But we did gain 15 emails in that process, which we think is a pretty good trade-off considering our venue and the type of sound we were going for.
So I'm going to talk about the live show that Danny did at Satchmo's last Friday. Yes, last Friday. We had Danny Carden and a few other intro project artists, who would happen to be these two people, put on a little group collaborative performance at Satchmo's, and I performed as well. I opened and I was the MC. And I think the show went really well. It was very good for Danny to get out and to actually be performing. And in the week upcoming the show, there was a lot of long nights in the studios trying to rehearse with the band for not only Danny, but the other two artists that were performing. And I think that the end outcome, we had about 30 people show up, and it actually exceeded our expectations. So we were very excited. And our future plans for Danny, first of all, I think she needs to have more paid advertisements. We didn't pay for any sort of social media boost or anything like that, and we think it would be very important for her, especially with the natural organic growth that her YouTube video has already received. Also, she has the Bandzoogle tag on her website, and we think it's very important just to get rid of that and get a subscription so we don't have to worry about the bandzoogle.com. We can just have Danny Carden as a whole, and it's available. Also, we want to give Danny a kind of coffee shop tour in 2018 for in Seattle and Portland and San Fran. She's originally from Portland, Oregon, so it would be easy and convenient for her. And also, the coffee house kind of fits her vibe as opposed to more of a bar or more of a loud setting. I think her songs and her sound is very mellow, and I think the coffee house would fit with that. Also, we want to record an EP with 5 songs, which includes her song Salmon Street and a new single that we hope to release soon. Thank you so much.
Really well done. I love your video. It turned out great, so shouldn't be afraid of anything there. Love your website. Love the idea of using the lips emoji on social media. Love, again, that you connected your social media successes across different platforms. Just really well done. Nice.
Thank you.
Rachel?
You go for it, Tim.
Love the video. I think it was great. The recording was good, and I think the song is really good, and you might want to consider going back and doing another recording of it so that they match, because that's a really good song, and it deserves a really good recording, too.
Yeah. I think you guys did a great job. I think you really got to know her, and you really based your branding around, like, digging in, personality, look, sound, everything. My only thought, and this is just, with the name Femme Fatale, obviously you have Danny, who fits that perfectly well, but would you exclude a male artist?
No.
Cool, just a thought I had.
No.
Great.
Y'all did a great job on the branding. Between the video and the website and the social media, that was really, really cohesive, really together. That's great job branding. Just a note, I don't want to be critical, and hopefully this doesn't just go over your heads, but I want to just throw this out there for you. So BMI, when you register with BMI, that doesn't protect the copyrights. It just gives you your public performance rights so that you can get paid on that. Right. If you want to register a copyright, you go register with copyright.gov. That's the only note I had. For everything else was great.
Thank you.
The live performance at Satchmo's is not going to make you any money, and obviously she's an impressive artist, so you need to get her out there.
Yeah.
If you had as many gigs as some of these other bands have had, she, I think, would be at a higher place.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but otherwise, I thought you did a great job, and thank you very much, and thank everybody else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice work, you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. See you Wednesday.